Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, how's everybody? Murtek rated us again. All right, Murtek, you go ahead. You be you, babe. I'm glad you're here every day. You make me smile, so thank you for that. What's going on, everybody? Brock, how are you?
Me.
What?
Murtag makes you smile every day. I thought it was me.
Right.
Drop liver.
You do. I'm absolutely smiling all the time because of you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was your job.
You're a horrible liar.
Good morning. What's going on, Freebird? Hi, Mama J4. Good to see you. What's going on, Dancing Machine? Dee Dee Bev's in the house. How was sunrise today, Dee Dee? Did you see it? Dee Dee Bev. I love it.
The mug delivery is still on pace.
Oh.
So
very
next
nice.
week.
Very nice. Oh, look at this. Aura Muse says, hello, my lovelies. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Dancing Machine.
Dancing Machine.
I love it. What's up, Black Dog? Mr. Black Dog. Hi, Angel Joy. Skiz, what's going on, baby?
So how does someone like Black Dog come up with your name?
What do you mean?
Like, how do people come up with their name? Like, mine's WBR Brock.
Right.
Which is pretty self-explanatory.
I don't know how Barb got her name. Or Liberty Bell. Yeah, I don't know. Some of them are kind of peculiar. Hey, Q-Fish, what's going on, babe? Hi, Griffin Lady. Hi, G-Note. Bite me, Jack, butt one.
There you go. Like, that's the prime example.
Oh, I love that one. Then there's Lager Poof. I fiddle 14 or I fiddle 1 for you.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I have to be careful.
I have to say that some of these people have dirty minds.
Creekside Garage. Hi. How are you?
I would assume that's a garage.
I haven't seen perp walk of Dunlemming yet. But well done. Fine usage. That's great. Creekside Garage. If you actually are a garage, I hope you get lots of business. That's bananas. What's going on, Demo Station? Hi, Goody. Hi, Term.
So we're slipping in the rumbles. And
I know.
Enough of you guys complain that you say we browbeat, but
I have to start doing it again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I know it's vexing. Spa Day Fit. Love it, Wendy. Oh.
Here, G.I. Jenny says, because I was in the military, my name is Jenny. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I like that. Who else do we want to figure out? Like, Vipers, sir. Vipers, is your last name Vipers and you're like the senior part of it? Vipers SR? I don't know. Who do we have here?
The one with the most creative names wins absolutely nothing.
Oh. Our love. Good morning, Patriot Pirate 13. Aura and Muse are my cat's names. Okay. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Spar says my daddy gave me my name. We weren't talking about you, Mr. Arizona. It's all good. Hi, Cyrene Pickle. Hi, Gravy Train. Razorback. Lock them up now. I got my name as they need locked up. That is a Pittsburgher.
Garage says my garage is my side gig. Have a regular job.
Oh, very nice. Yes. Lock them up now. Tell me you are or you are not from Pittsburgh because you just spoke Brockanese. Mama J4. I'm a mom and all 4 of us start with J. Oh. Well, that's great. I like that. See, this is fun. Tiedemann Pat that's email. Yep, I know you. Of course. Happy Barbie Blonde. Mine was given me by the fireman I play cards with. Oh, that's cute. You have black dogs. Okay, makes sense. Clover Patch. Let's see.
Don't be racist.
NH Beer Maker says making beer again today. I love you. Hi, DR Gerald. Is it Dr. Gerald or is that your first 2 initials? What's going on?
Sid 87. Sid for my dog. Is that I thought Sid 87 was Sidney Crosby.
Stormy Night says Brock, I rode a tornado. Okay. That sounds like we need some granular data on that one. Pole 99. Don't follow me. Okay. I'm here. I see you. Wendy's lion's mane looks awesome. Wow. Love your show. Hey, Otveen. Good to see you, babe. Saprentia. Good to see you. Sweet Sugar. Hi, Ren Woman. What's going on, Stickton? And Edith McGroin.
Oh, boy.
Okay, come on, Rumble. Today's the day. We've been following so far behind. We're like 91,000 estimated to hit by Easter. We wanted to hit 100,000. I don't know if that's possible now because I didn't browbeat you people.
You people.
Oh, I do have some stuff going on here, don't I?
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of rough today.
Losing that battle.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain, and welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's common sense, conservative values that, you know what, really work for everybody. I really don't know anybody out there who would listen to what we say on this program besides the stuff about the toxic white college educated liberal chicks who are the what again? Oh, that's right. The scourge of our society. Indeed, they are. I don't know who would listen to this program and say, you know what, I disagree with that. Because it all just makes sense. And if you're tired of living in a world that is upside down because it is designed that way, then you found the right place. We are your ultimate decoder ring. We are the Wendy Bell radio program, and you can follow us. Follow that name, wendybellradio.com. Join the live video stream. Get the podcast. Keep coming back. Have a wonderful day with us before we start the weekend. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, the dominoes are starting to fall in a very big way. You know, I think we've all been playing our own kind of version of dominoes. We all have our own sets, our own ones laid out. But they're all kind of now lined up and ready to go. And you've got Trump who's been waiting to do it. He's like, hot dog, give it to me right now. And he's tapped it. And it's starting. All this stuff that you and I have known for years, that we've been patiently talking about and we've been vilified for. And people are like, they sound really extreme. Well, how do you like us now? Because it's all coming out. The election garbage. They are so afraid. I don't know what the left is more afraid of, President Trump or Tulsi Gabbard. We're going to talk about that because she was on the ground in Fulton County, Georgia yesterday. And man, did the news people freak out over that. It's almost like they're afraid of what they're going to find. Going back over all the stuff for 2020 and the stuff that the Trump administration's looking for. Everything. We want it all. Load it up. Get it to Quantico. We are going to pay attention. Before I get into all of these details, my son Jack comes into the living room the other night and he says, hey, Mom, Jack's 24. Hey, Mom, I'm going to be going to New York on Friday. And I was like, okay, why? And he's like, well, you know my friend I've been telling you about? And I'm like, yeah, I know your friend that you've been telling me about. He says, well, his sister goes to NYU. And I'm like, oh, does he like the girl? I mean, he's going to visit her? What's he doing? I have no idea. He's like, well, apparently, I got to go get her car. And I said, wait, what? He's like, well, here's the story. So my friend's sister is at NYU. Her grandma gave her a car, knowing that it's hard to get here and there and all these other things going on, was nice enough to give my friend's sister this car. But the sister is allowing her boyfriend to drive it. Right. And she really doesn't want to be driving. She kind of wants to be driven in the car by the boyfriend. And so she had the audacity over the holidays to come home and to say to Graham, hey, Graham, how about you sign over that title to my boyfriend, Rob? And Grandma was like, why would I do that? She's like, well, I don't really drive it all that much. He tends to drive it more than I do. And Grandma was like, absolutely not. I didn't buy the car and ultimately give it to you for Rob to drive it. And, I should probably take it back then. And the daughter was like, or the granddaughter was like, I don't think so, Graham. It's my car. I'm going to take it. I'm going to do whatever I want. So Graham said, oh, the hell you are. Called Jack's friend. And the friend called Jack and said, we're on a recon mission. We're going to go repo a car. Literally, they are flying. And now they're on a plane to LaGuardia, right? They're going to get off at LaGuardia. They're going to go basically knock on the girl's door, Jack's friend's sister. Hi, we need the keys to the car. I don't even know what it is. Grandma wants the car back. Oh my gosh. This is called parenting 101 that none of us have really ever gone for because it's so badass. And we're all like, oh my gosh. So you're going to fly 2 people to New York for the explicit purpose of getting your car back because your granddaughter doesn't understand what it's like. And oh, by the way, if Rob, or whatever the boyfriend's name, if he gets into an accident, he's not covered on the insurance. Of course, daughter didn't think about that. So they're going as the ultimate repo mission to bring the car back to Graham here in Pittsburgh. And you know what? I'm all about it. All about it. Like, how grateful should you be? And then you're going to let your boyfriend, without even a thought, without even being grateful, it seems like, you're going to go and then have the gall to ask Grandma to sign the title of the car over to your boyfriend? What? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, out of your mind. Grandma wasn't. Repo, go, get it back, come get it back, and I will, whatever. I'll give you $100. I love that, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what is going on a much broader scale here in these United States. Donald Trump is repoing all of the ballots, all of the tabulators, all of the machines, all of the logs, all of the video, all of it, all of the signature matching, all of the voter rolls, all of the things that the government's been asking for from Fulton County, Georgia election officials, where, by the way, all of the crazy stuff happened on election night 2020, and you and I have followed this ad nauseum. Donald Trump finally said, you know what, screw you. The title doesn't belong to you. It's mine. It's ours. We're getting it back, and you can sit there and watch it happen. And that is exactly what elections officials did in Fulton County. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is a thing of magic. Look, we're going to follow the law. We're going to tell you that we thought things were weird. You scoffed at us because you knew they were weird, because you knew you cheated and you couldn't have anybody finding out about it. So you created something on January 6th, a smokescreen that threw hundreds of people away in prison and ruined hundreds of other lives, all for your farce to continue. But there's a time limit, ladies and gentlemen, on suck. It only lasts so long before all of the little threads are pulled out of it. And then the beautiful tapestry of farcical narratives begins to unwind. That is where we are. And name somebody in Donald Trump's cabinet who isn't pulling one of these threads. All of them are doing it. You've got Act Blue now, completely blown out of the water and exposed. And we're going to, in just a few minutes, dig into something that's just come out. This smurfing, this using of random people who have no idea. They're usually in their 70s or 80s. Maybe they've given once to a Democrat. Their identities have been stolen, and under their names, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars have flowed from dark money processes outside of this country, and sometimes from within, through these unsuspecting people to fund all of these campaigns. And you know what's so weird? It's never any of the Republicans. Why don't they get funded? I don't see a bunch of Smurfs going to the re-election campaign of Jim Jordan. I don't see people hot and heavy to give to Steve Scalise. No, all of this is coming out, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you this. When you secure the elections, you eliminate all of that garbage. You make people show identification and proof of citizenship. You make your elections a singular day. And we get back to the way things used to be, where you get the results by the 10 or 11 o'clock news, depending on what part of the country you're in. Now you're talking, but what do the Democrats need, guys? They need bodies. They need bodies and they need money. And the Republicans are unwinding the bodies, sending all of the legals back home, which obviously we voted for. And the money has run dry. USAID, that got blown out of the water. And now the whole capture of Nicolas Maduro and all of that in Venezuela starts to come into focus. What is it that Nicolas Maduro knows? And what is it that that man wants? He wants freedom, and he will sing like a freaking bird to get it. And all of these people from Venezuela to Serbia to China to Cuba to the halls of Congress, they know, because they're on those threads and they're being yanked. And everything is unraveling. And Donald Trump will yet again be proven right and vindicated. He didn't want that. He just wants to make America great again. And to all of those people out there, that meant unplugging the swamp. It's happened. So when we come back, we've got a lot to go through. It's confusing, and depending on where you are on the spectrum of knowledge about all of this fraud, we're going to start plugging in some pieces. This Eric Coomer guy from Dominion, well, he stepped in a giant turd sandwich, and it ain't getting off his shoes anytime soon. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about what the Trump administration wants out of Fulton County. Should make every deep stater nauseous. The details next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. They're making it too easy, you guys, because they've been so accustomed to getting away with it for so long. It's like cheating on anything. You become almost reckless. You become lazy. You don't cover your tracks. You don't turn off your phone. You don't hide the receipts, right? You don't lock your computer. And then all of a sudden, it comes out. What? You've been doing what? That's where we are. Pittsburgh Disc Institute, PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. That is the source. That is the site for relief for a lot of people, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who've opted not for surgery, but a therapy that pretty much promises to grow back your discs. They've gotten out of whack. They've fallen apart, discs between your vertebrae and your neck and your spine. And they hurt. When you lose those discs, you get grinding, you get pain, and it's awful. And you don't have to live that way because Dr. Rafferty has a system for you that is non-surgical. There's no blood. There's no cutting. There's no OR. It's comfortable therapy to basically stretch your back so your discs can grow back. And it's 98% successful. 412-906-9600. I love talking about things that make people better. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. 412-906-9600. Go and check them out. This story about the Smurfs, we've talked about the Smurfs before on this program.
Can I say something I said to you this morning? Isn't it, and maybe you guys...
Okay.
Isn't it amazing that we haven't heard from Stacey Abrams on the elections, and she's always got a big mouth to comment on everything. She's silent.
Well, what was one of the Biden administration's last moves?
Billions to her organization that made $100.
And it was for climate nonsense. Climate stuff. What? Billions of dollars. And Lee Zeldin was like, yo.
Negative Ghost Rider.
They're throwing gold bars off the top deck of the Titanic. That's exactly what they're doing. And all of that. And now, what is it? The Democrats are favored over Republicans by 13 on the economy. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? That shows you how little people understand about the cause and then the effect. The cause of the suck, you're feeling the effects of it. You've got a president who's trying to fix it. There's a difference. Rumble, please rumble. I'm going to ask you every time to rumble. And the sooner we get to that beautiful, I want to hit 2,500 by the end of this segment. That gives us smooth sailing. So literally,
you better hit that rumble.
It's 900 people we need. And I'm so grateful for you to do that. The rumble button is the thumbs up button underneath the video box. Just scroll, make me go up and hit that. You wonder, how do these terrible people who continually let us down vote for things we don't support? There are not that many dumb Democrats out there voting for Democrat people who are pushing this stuff, are there? And I don't believe the answer is yes. I don't. So how are all these people, these candidates, these Democrats, how do they have such stacked campaign coffers? Well, Gateway Pundit moments ago with a story that just crossed, it's titled A Tale of 82 Smurfs, Massive Money Laundering Fraud in the Democratic Party, showcasing Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell. You guys ever heard that name? Most of you are like, no. Well, then why are people in other states in their 80s giving this guy thousands upon thousands of dollars every week? Because they're not, but the system says they are. Here we go. If I told you that 82 senior citizens that average 75 years of age donated $11,516,000 in 537,000 separate individual donations. Would you believe me? 82 senior citizens. Because you know how savvy people are over the age of, I don't know, even 50. I'm 55. I'm not that savvy. Somebody in their 80s who's going on their phone, honey, I'll be right there. We'll have tea in a minute. I need to make my donation to Congressman Bell. No, said nobody. 82 individuals, $11.5 million in 537,000 donations. Like right there. Do you and I need to continue this conversation, or are we all on the same page? Act Blue is a total money laundering operation, getting dark money in small little nuggets that fly under the radar, sort of like, what reminds us of that, Brock? It was almost like the Biden crime family syndicate. What did they do? Oh, we're going to have 20 different shell companies. We're going to have 9 different Bidens, including the grandkids. We're going to have all these different things, and we're going to have small dollar donations to all of these people. So we'll fly under the radar until somebody tunes into the radar and they're like, Houston, we have a problem. And this is a problem. According to the FEC, this group of 82 senior citizens, right? That average, 72 years of age, did exactly that. These donations of more than $500,000 separate times that they were given money. Average $21.41 each. Why? Well, that way, the masters of political money laundering had hoped to stay under the radar. It worked for almost 2 decades. 2 decades! Hey, James O'Keefe, you know why they wanted to find you and kill you in Minnesota? Because you freaking unraveled Act Blue, my man. And we could not be more grateful to you. Well, it was obviously the last few years, investigative reporters, including James O'Keefe and others, have foiled this great conspiracy that is believed to have laundered somewhere over $1 billion in the last 2 decades through Act Blue, with the probable complicity of the FEC. What? I have the list of the 82 people. You want to know who they gave to, ladies and gentlemen? Well, 20 of them gave to Cory Booker. All 20 Smurfs donated to Booker's campaign through Act Blue. All 20. How about 22 Smurfs? They gave money. Again, Smurfs are people who do exist but do not give money like this. Their identities have been stolen for the purpose of making it look like it is their money they're giving. It's not. Mark Kelly, Arizona senator and leader of the Seditious Six. Wow, he got 22 Smurfs donating to him over and over and over again. How about 10 gave to Fani Willis? 10 gave repeatedly to Tim Walz, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. In fact, let me give you all of the recipients just so we know what is added into our recipe of total suck for Democrats today. I see Wesley Bell, Congresswoman. I see Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, Fani Willis, Gretchen Whitmer, the DNC, the DCCC, their big organization, an organization called Progressive Takeover. Oh, Hillary Clinton, she's gotten a lot of money from them. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Mark Kelly, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Alyssa Slotkin, seditious sixer, if I'm not mistaken, Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar. Oh, Amy, right? John Fetterman, Hakeem Jeffries. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all of them have been money laundering recipients of these 82 Smurfs. $11.5 million from just 82 senior citizens who have no idea, who didn't give any money, whose identities have been stolen, so that these people who cannot get their own campaign contributions because they suck and nobody wants to give to them, this is how they've been staying in power. Why is it that we're hearing today, ladies and gentlemen, that Tim Walz, even though he swears, I'm getting out of politics, I'm done with this political life, he said, why would we ever in a million years believe a word that came out of that man's mouth? Now we're hearing that in the dark, deep recesses, of course, of Minnesota, we've got Amy Klobuchar, who's pining away to be the state's next governor. And what will happen when she vacates her seat if she wins that position as governor? She gets to appoint her own senator replacement, right? And who might that person be, do you suppose? I'm going to go with Tim Walz. Anybody? Bueller. It's not like that's what the people of Minnesota would want, but I mean, when was the last time a deep stater gave a rip about you? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends. So the deep state has, all that's left is the leftists in Minneapolis. Really? Well, I got some details on that. Buckle up. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. These Smurfs, this gateway pundit thing is like freaking amazing. I mean, it seems clear that the purpose of all of this money laundering is to provide under the cover of darkness, large sums of money to Democratic candidates and committees and escape the limits of contributions and the revelations of the source of money. It's everything they do. It's lying, it's cheating, it's stealing, it's swindling, it's pointing fingers at somebody else to say they're doing it. And everybody knows what's going on, right? I mean, I know what's going on, and I'm a mom. I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm not some super genius, right? I'm not calling people on Capitol Hill. I'm like, this is so dumb.
Why are people throwing money?
Because I'm fabulous. Oh, old school. Who's ready?
Lady in Pink 6. Hope Rock got his driveway cleared off. I enjoy your program. I did. Froggy 1776, $100.
Froggy.
Today's Froggy's 65th birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Dr. Gerald 65, $10. Happy birthday, Forever 29.
Wow. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I'm going to give it one more segment and then it's going back. It's way too out of control. Hey, let me tell you guys about, who do I want to tell you about? I'm going to tell you about Dr. Gundry. It's what I'm just drinking right now, Dr. Stephen Gundry's mix. which has a lot of the same effects over a longer period of time as those shots, the weight loss shots, without the curious, I don't know what the long-term effects are, dangling over your head. Dr. Gundry invented the healthy fat. He calls it MCT Wellness, but you can get it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. And he did it because he had put on some weight and he wanted to take it off, and he was doing the research, and he identified this switch inside of your body that the ingredients inside MCT Wellness help to trigger to cue your body to dump extra calories that it's holding on to. And because of this mechanism from the drink, you begin to lose weight, but not like 5 pounds a week, maybe a pound, maybe a pound and a half a week. So it's slow and steady. Maybe if you have more to lose, you'll lose more, but it acts as a meal supplement. So it quashes your cravings and your hunger, but it also stimulates this thing inside of you where your body's like, I don't want these calories, drop these calories. And then you do, and you start losing weight. Gundry said 70 pounds. He says he's seen thousands of people lose life-changing weight with MCT Wellness. Again, you can get it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Again, the video is tremendous. I drink it every day and I love it every day. And I will tell you, it certainly works for me. I am not hungry at the pivotal part of my days when I should be ravenous. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Love that. Love it. All right, let's see where we are. We're 1/6 of the way already. Gosh, 1.92. Okay, we have 500 people to go. 500 to go before we come back in 3 minutes. I think you can do it. Anybody? No? Froggy, Russell, happy birthday. 5,300 watching. Hello. Oh. Breaking news?
No.
Extended
Like
car
car
warranty?
insurance.
Yeah. Amen to that. This thing on the Smurfs is mind-bending. It is truly remarkable. And Don Lemming. Oh, Don.
Once again, though, when has Trump been wrong? Like I said, they're all, he's still litigating 2020, and you just have to be like, litigating? He never got a chance. You people didn't let him litigate 2020. You had wanted nothing to do with litigating 2020. And like Wendy always says, is if you're innocent, you want people to know you're innocent. You open your books.
Yes. Yeah, and by the way, when you're not a part of it, it doesn't impact you one way or another. It's a big point. But, there's no reason that the media should be apoplectic about this, right? About 2020.
Other than they're all dirtbags.
There should be no reason. In fact, one would argue that they should say, finally, let's just get it out in the open. Let's figure it out, put it to bed, and be done with it. But they can't.
So Jake Tapper can at least write a book. I mean, please.
That's true. He does need to write his book. Did she leave something here?
Yes.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to make it all the way with this hair today, guys. It is liony. All right. I'm ready, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. Liz Collins still kicking ass, man. God, I love her.
I'm going to go back to This Is All a Movie and Joe Biden. This all needed to happen. Because in 2020, if Donald Trump wins,
none of this is known.
Do we think
and
that
it
this
continues?
has to be so outrageous?
No.
Apple cider vinegar.
Somalians?
Yeah. Now we believe everything. We literally believe everything.
Now I know why he also didn't say call the Insurrection Act. You need this to happen. People need to see with their own eyes.
They've officially pissed off all of America.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know what I think is so interesting about where we are right now and wherever you are in your knowledge base. I know there are some of you out there who pay attention to this program and you guys go down some rabbit holes. You're involved in some chats with some people that take things to a whole different dimension. I dabble on the edge of that. Sometimes we'll tip a toe in, right? But by and large, I kind of hang out in the realm of what people are talking about and what they don't want us talking about. And I enjoy that perspective. Instead of going down, I like to go up above and see what everybody else is doing. But depending on where you are knowledge-wise, and Brock was exactly right in the commercial break. He's like, this all had to happen for us to see just how many people are just how compromised, to see how many elements in our federal government, and then you can only imagine what's going on at your state and local level, are complete shams. How you've got duplicitous jobs being done, people not showing up, buildings not being occupied, money being spent, but not going where it needs to go, which is why I say if you're in a Democrat bluescape, hellscape, you're on that hamster wheel because you're like, I'm paying a lot, but I'm not seeing anything. What am I getting? And it's not making sense. It's not supposed to. This is a giant presentation and it's poorly executed. It's a lousy playbook that worked so many times that the people behind it and the people who are now new actors in it stopped actually honing their craft to sell it. They're lazy. They're sloppy. I mean, for Ilhan Omar, let's just think for 1 second. For Ilhan Omar really to come out with $30 million as a net worth in a year and did not think anybody was going to see it, right? Like, it's ridiculous for us to believe that a population as remote and as completely different from America and civilization as we see it, as Somalia, for those people to come here and steal billions of dollars. I mean, honest to God, you could not create something more farcical. It's like the laptop, right? It's like what happened at the State Farm Arena with video cameras capturing it. You've seen it. You followed it. You've watched how it was lied about. You've paid attention to the media run interference and spread counter narratives, right? You've watched the truth come out. You've seen them get busted for editing stuff to make you believe something that's not true. And yet these are the people now who are aghast that the wheels of the bus have fallen off and that these dominoes are falling. There's only so many times you can dip into the well of taxing the rich. Same way as there's only so many times you can blame Donald Trump for your own fraud and immorality. And I think now everybody who is looking at Donald Trump, it's like, man, he's the ultimate whipping boy. I had no idea one guy could be guilty of so much, because the left can never admit when it's been caught. It can never admit when it's wrong. It can never look at you in the eyes and make you feel as though they're telling you the truth. I don't think they know how anymore. And isn't that sad? Sad but corrupt. Hang them all. Hang them all. Pay-per-view stonings, right? You want to raise some money and chip away at the debt? All right, let's go. Everybody gets a rock. Or you get a front row seat in your home. And you can put bets on that guy right there with the big bicep. Who's going to take him out? I swear to you, this is sedition. This is treason. These are hangable offenses. It is disgusting. And Donald Trump told you in 2015, coming down that escalator, I'll fix it. I'll be your warrior. I'll be that person, because I don't think anybody else can do it. See, not only is Donald Trump exposing election malfeasance, fraud, corruption, you put your word that you like best there, here in America, he's exposing it all over the world. Well, what do you think Maduro did in Venezuela? Dude wasn't voted in. He wasn't elected, right? One has to look all around the world and see which machines from these companies that we were using that are connected to all of these various countries, including Serbia and Venezuela and Cuba and China, and fill in the blank here. How many of them have used the same machines? How many of them and their people noticed similar things as we did the night of November 3rd, 2020, or 5th, or whatever it was, when we went to bed with one set of results, down ballot, and woke up with something else, right? I want to read you this. Materials sought in Fulton County FBI warrant. We know what they wanted. We know what they got. They got it all, ladies and gentlemen. All of it. And I can tell you, there is a difficult road ahead for these Fulton County officials. And I want to read you this. So on Wednesday, the FBI executed this search warrant against the Fulton County elections warehouse, if you will, the elections officials there. And also, the likely target of the warrant pertained to reports filed by citizen investigators. Gateway Pundit reported this on Wednesday, whose persistence since the 2020 election was finally acknowledged by federal investigators, right? This is all the January 6ers were trying to do too, ladies and gentlemen. Stop. Listen to us. But see, we don't get listened to. How many times did we have to go out and say something? How many hearings needed to be held? How many signed affidavits needed to be presented as evidence? But I'll tell you what, if Joe Biden hadn't won, allegedly, in 2020, we would know almost nothing. We wouldn't know about all of the origins of COVID, about the deep, dark depths of that nonsense. We wouldn't know about all of these funding apparatuses. We wouldn't know about these dark money people, these deep state hacks who want to destroy America and the other countries who are helping them do it. We wouldn't know any of that. Hell, before I was forced to wear a mask, for heaven's sakes, I was a busy mom of 5, treading water, right? Trying to get my kids through college and those on their way. I wouldn't have been paying attention. And then they made us because we saw something that in my lifetime I haven't seen. I mean, we saw evil. We saw evil. I'll never forget that. And I say it commonly here. Don't you ever forget what they did to us. Don't you ever forget what they put us through. Don't you ever forget the media's role, not only in covering it up, but instead spreading a ridiculous narrative that people who love their country, who traveled from all over, including Alaska and Hawaii, went to Washington, D.C. on a freezing, dreary January day 5 years ago because they love their country. And they were afraid it was over. And they were trapped and beaten and attacked and killed and accused and ridiculed and arrested and paraded on TV and put on trial. And they were refused information that would have helped them. And they were convicted by tainted jury pools who were given lousy evidence because the system was stacked against them. We would never, ever have known. maybe Tony Fauci is all that they said. Maybe he is the sexiest man alive, you guys. Because without him and his devious, dark ways, we'd never be here. We'd have no idea. You'd have no idea what Clinton and Obama were a part of. And then they brought up Jeffrey Epstein. They didn't care about the girls. They never did. They don't care about autism. They don't care about obesity. They don't care about rape. They don't care about kids in school. They don't care about kids getting abducted off the street. They don't care about kids getting murdered and thrown off of highway overpasses to be found on rocks below. And they certainly don't stand up when their names are read before a joint session of Congress to applaud grieving parents who never asked for any of this. See, we didn't ask for this. Trump didn't ask for this. But we voted for somebody who doesn't lie to us, who told us he would stand in the gap. And they threw everything they had. And there are very fine men who wouldn't have been able to stand it. Think about how clean he has to be. Because if there was something even remotely nefarious about his business dealings, if there was even a hint that he didn't do things because he was racist or he was discriminatory, that man, for 40 years, we've heard stories of the benevolence of the Trump brand. They had nothing. And so they made it up. But they're so used to getting away with everything. They didn't find the best actors. They didn't get the best screenwriters. They didn't hire the best directors. And the media mouthpieces who are supposed to share the stories that you and I are supposed to believe in this grand fabricated reality. Well, we stopped believing them a long time ago. You should be mad. You should be furious. You should want revenge. And revenge is justice. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Liz Collin, what's more ridiculous, all right? That Tim Walz should fail into the senator's seat, or that Don Lemming shouldn't have been arrested? Oh, I love it for you. Next on the Wendy Bell radio program. Well, apparently I had a thing or two to say there. Sorry. I kind of went off a little bit, a little off script. It's so ridiculous. I'm so angry. I can taste it. I can taste it. And I've got tears in my eyes for no reason. I don't feel like crying, but I feel like it's going to come out just because I'm so pissed. And I want to take every asshole liberal out there who's been a jerk to you or to me and has tried to tell us that we're wrong and have judged us. I feel for you because you're going to have to live with the reality of how wrong you've been. And then it's going to be upon the grace of we the people to forgive you. I don't know. I don't think so.
Think about what else we had to see. We had to see Joe Biden walk into the hedges. We had to see him meander off.
Brock.
And then have the media tell us, no, he's sharp as a tack.
He was interested in the parachutists, boots. Okay. Let me tell you about, this is, look, this is why I'm super persnickety. And I know I talk about the same companies every single day. I love these people. I really do. They're good people. And they do stuff that's good. And it's good for you. And I love Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. How something that's so out of my realm of knowledge. I don't follow gold and silver. So when I got in touch with them, they got in touch with me and we started talking. Literally in 30 minutes, I got a history lesson on basically the whole jazz about gold. I knew nothing. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is fascinating. And we started talking more. And then I said to Joe, I think we should get some gold and silver. And he's like, all right, whatever. And so we did. And then I could chronicle to you the experience. What's it like? Right. So I got my $4 worth of gold and silver and it arrived at my door and I was able to tell you about it. It's easy. Now, do you have an extra $5,000 to get an ounce of gold right now? Maybe not. But if you do, or if you have retirement monies, there's a great way to talk to them about how you get this in your retirement savings. 855-927-5557. That's our number. Okay. Remember that. That's ours. So when you call, they're like, Shazam. It's a Wendy Bell Radio fan and they're fantastic. They love you at wendylovesgold.com. Okay. 855-927-5557. Ask for a free wealth guide. Ask about anything they can send you about precious metals investing, how it works, or just call them because they answer and they're super excited when you call. 855-927-5557. wendylovesgold.com.
Today may be the day to buy.
Okay, is it down?
Silver is down 26.61. So
Wait,
it's
what?
Under 90, 88.
88. I thought you heard
88.17.
Okay. I don't understand what's going on.
And Cozy Earth link is working now.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll give that to you guys. I believe it was Wendy Bogo. That was the pajamas that we were talking about and the sheets at Cozy Earth.
CozyEarth.com/Wendy Bogo.
Wendy Bogo. CozyEarth.com/Wendy Bogo. That's 2 for 1 of the pajamas. I'm telling you what, guys. It's pretty special. We'll talk a little bit about it coming up. Michael wants me to get them for Brock and him.
Yeah.
The Bogo.
You
don't like to be lumped in with my son?
Well, he asked, how can you say no to your firstborn?
I do quite commonly, actually. Right?
Is it no a mom's favorite word?
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. So I went totally long on that last segment. I'm sorry, I got passionate. I want to say this in this Gateway Pundit article, which was interesting, and it goes over, it's not just Fulton County, Georgia. It's Maricopa County, Arizona. I remember that. I remember our then state senator, Doug Mastriano, ran for governor here and should have won, would have been a hell of a governor. Flying out to meet with Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers. They were doing that whole audit hand count. And it was a big operation. The way you stop that is you punish people who pursue it. You go after them and you try to destroy them. They tried to do that with Doug Mastriano. They tried to do that with anybody who wanted to raise questions about 2020. That is the lawfare. That's the weaponizing. To the point where you can't speak your mind or even ask a question without the knives coming out. It is meant to intimidate, to bully, and to silence you so that the fraud is protected. I mean, when you win in a state by fewer than 11,000 votes, as Biden allegedly did in Georgia in 2020, what do you think? Curious? Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's going to win by 11,000. Are you kidding me? Come on. Doesn't pass the smell test. I want you to hear Liz Collin, from Alpha News. She's like, well, this is the next step in the saga of Minnesota. It's not about cleaning up fraud, waste, and abuse for the people. It's not about listening to the residents. It's not about being on the ground, listening to the people. It's not about we, the people. This is the disconnect of government. This is Liz Collin. Listen to this report. Wow.
Governor Walsall, you'll notice, Jesse, careful to say that he will not run for public office again. However, Senator Amy Klobuchar could still appoint him to her Senate seat. Also interesting to note that Senator Klobuchar in her announcement did not mention President Trump today by name. She did say that she was going to root out fraud, but that's hard for many of us to believe. She's been a senator for nearly 20 years. She has been silent on the issue of Somali fraud in Minnesota.
Wait,
Jesse.
so Liz, are you saying there's a deal between Walz and Amy? She's going to appoint him to be a senator?
It is a possibility, and I thought the word choice in that interview last night was quite interesting. But here on the ground, I think police officers are feeling a bit relieved. I've been speaking to them through this whole process. You know, many of them couldn't do their jobs, especially in Minneapolis before, but Homan seems to have changed things here. We saw mass arrests in Minneapolis. That hasn't happened, or been allowed to happen, I should say, in weeks. Instead, they're watching other agencies move in and do the job that they should be tasked to do. But again, kind of this manufactured crisis. I know you spoke about the fall of Minneapolis, which I appreciate, but so many of those same people in power, actually the exact same people, and we're seeing this all on repeat.
We're seeing this all on repeat. Why on earth would Minnesota want freaking Amy Klobuchar? Why would you want that? It would be like wanting Kamala Harris after Joe Biden, just worse, if that's possible, right? Why would we do that? See, now, if you're just a regular person and you're not from Minnesota, you'd say to yourself, I mean, come on. I mean, it's a blue state, but they're not stupid. Are they're going to vote for the same idiots that rip them off? I mean, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you go for a Donald Trump outsider, somebody who is a true outsider? See, the only way these people can stay protected from prosecution, they believe, is to be in some semblance of office, right? That's the protection. Nobody wants Amy Klobuchar. Nobody wanted her to begin with. And so she feels like this is her natural way. Make a deal with Walz, let him slide in. I would riot. You want to see a real riot in Minnesota? Allow Tim Walz to be the senator if she bounces over to the governor's house. All right, Don Lemon arrested by federal agent. You know, when I see Lemon, I don't even see it anymore. I see Lemming. It's all I can see. Arrested by federal agents for storming that St. Paul church. Well, you know, finally, we're getting some arrests. If Don Lemon is the first time we really see Pam Bondi take action, so be it. Why not? He could be the poster child. Former CNN hack Don Lemon has been arrested for actions earlier this month inside a St. Paul church. As NBC reported, he was covering the Grammy Awards. Like, who covers the Grammy Award? Like, honestly, okay. He was covering the Grammy Awards last night when federal agents took him into custody. He's facing conspiracy against rights charges and violation of the FACE Act. Lemon's attorney, Abby Lowell, released the following statement. This is rich, right? Isn't this Hunter Biden's attorney? This is Hunter Biden's
Yes.
attorney. Sounds like a lovely guy. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resource to this arrest. And that is the real incitement of wrongdoing in this case. Really, Abby? Really? Instead of investigating the federal agents, maybe your client should be less of a dirtbag. Newsflash. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, 2020 election fraud dominoes are dropping. Let's go through all of the details as the deep state and the media freak next. Don Lemon. You know, you can't arrest and go to task with Mark Houck because some turd, you know, abortion guy got in his son's face and Mark told him, get out of my son's way. And he didn't. So he pushed him and the guy fell. And he's like, I got hurt. And I'm like, I'll step on you. And then Mark Houck gets arrested at his house, a pre-dawn raid, right?
In front of all his kids.
All of the agents, all wearing black, the armored vehicles, the assault rifles, the face shields, the body armor. Yeah. And they drag him out, essentially. I mean, maybe not drag him out, but they scare the bejeebers out of his wife and 30 kids. And they're all inside, like, I don't know how many had, 7 or 8, something like that. Just crazy. And then Don Lemon can go into a freaking church service and getting people's faces, and that's okay. All right.
Under the guise of freedom of speech and press.
2.32 So if you're watching this after hours, so you're not watching it now with us, you can still rumble, can't you?
Yes.
Rumble. Don't not rumble. If you come in late, if our hours have mucked you up, it's okay, but still rumble. I got to do it. What should we talk about?
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you guys about Healthy Cell. Joe, I'm going to take home the Immune Super Boost. He's got this cough now, and I'm like, oh, nuts. He almost never gets sick. Doctors do not take days off to be sick. It's amazing. And so I'm going to take home his Immune Super Boost here. I'm going to get it out and talk to you guys about this from Healthy Cell. Their stuff is just fantastic. I know I'm all over the place today. Sorry. Wendy's Lion's Mane Ultra. All right, hold on. This is one of those things I think you're going to really like. By Healthy Cell. All right, so you get a box of these. This is how it comes. It comes in this cute little box. And inside are 30 of these pouches. So you have a month's supply. Hold on, let me figure this out. I got to get all the sharks. All right, so it's a month's supply, and inside, I'm going to read it. I'm going to actually put my glasses on this time. Here we go. And the flavor here is blackberry, and it's good. This is a microgel flavored with like blackberry and other natural flavors, immunity-activating vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, including vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and echinacea for powerful immune support. That is, in my mind, perfect for cold and flu season. So if you are not yet protected with the right help, the thing that's great about Healthy Cell as well is they identify that not all of us can digest pills and capsules that easily. And so that's why they made it into a gel that you can kind of just suck in or like slurp into your mouth, and then like, boom, you swallow it and it's done. And it tastes good. And the formulas I have right here: calm mood, focus and recall, joint health and mobility, heart and vascular health. There's one for blood sugar. I mean, think about that. Managing your blood sugar without being on a prescription pad. I'm all about it, right? All this stuff. Also, there's the one for hair, skin, and nails, calm mood, all of this stuff. Oh, I already said calm mood. Healthycell.com/Wendy. I love their stuff, and they always have a great discount for the first time you buy. I think you'll love them. Love, love, love. Let's see what you guys are up to. Besides not 242. Okay. We need 80 people.
I think the silver and gold price is dropping.
Yes. You think that something's coming?
Something's coming.
What's this?
Something's coming. This is me, my tin foil.
Is that you doing that?
What?
You're tin foiling over that?
Yeah, like something's coming. How can precious metals drop that fast when they're in that kind of demand?
So read me what you think.
I don't know. I don't know. It just, once again, doesn't pass the smell test.
Nothing does.
You know, like
everything
if
we're
it's
doing
dropping
right now.
that fast, you know.
So what was it yesterday? You were at 100 and something yesterday, right?
Well, it dropped to 86. It dropped 28, so it was over 100.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's just the dollar getting stronger. I think it's a lot of what Trump's doing, and I think, you know, with the AI and all these companies, they're going to need those precious metals. They're going to need them, and to see them drop makes me wonder what's next. What's next? Our dollar's so weak right now. It's, you know, when a soda cost, when a house that 30 years ago, 40 years ago would cost minimal.
Where can you buy
Compared to
this? No, you can't.
No. You can get tumblers, though, on wendybellradio.com. Hit the shop tab. We're going to have mugs there next week.
I forgot about that one. The Bomb Pop.
Yeah.
I love the Bomb Pop. I don't disagree with Brock. Something's happening. Something's happening. Well, they're going to also need, the left is going to need some big smoke screen. They're going to have to do something. There's going to have to be a big story to suck the oxygen away from this election fraud. So what's that going to be?
What is it? Well, I saw that.
Does Joe Biden die?
Some new virus in India.
Joe Biden, I could see Joe Biden dying. I mean, they never have to see him again.
Who's going to get, and this is horrible to say, who's going to ride over that? Who's going to get
That's not what I mean, but it would involve days of, he was such a statesman. And you and I are like, something like that, something big. What do you guys think? We got some theorists out there. Give me your best Reynolds drop. What do you think? Froggy, it's Trump's flotilla and this is striking distance from, it's from Iran. Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you. Something's going to happen. Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
You know, the Washington game, we're losing sight of what happened here. People unelected, simply because they don't like a guy's hairstyle or like where he came from, decided the American people's decision was invalid and began a systematic process to get him thrown out of office. This is a silent coup. These guys, if you ask me, ought to be the ones in jail. They ought to be the ones under investigation. What they have done, working with agents from the Obama intelligence agencies, is simply unprecedented. This is one of the greatest political hoaxes that has ever been perpetrated on the people of this country, certainly in a couple of generations.
3 hours of gold, truth, and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, this election fraud stuff, it is great that it's finally coming out. It is frustrating that it's taken this long, but you know what? You get to that point and you're like, let's go. The 2020 election fraud dominoes are starting to fall now. And I mean, I want to know what really happened. I want to know who knew what, when, and where. I want to know how deep this goes. And it's interesting, you know, we've talked about the binder. We've got news on the binder coming up. The reason why they raided Mar-a-Lago, because Donald Trump had declassified all of this stuff that he had learned about the deep state, Russia, all of it. And he was ready to put it all out there the day he was walking out of office and Joe Biden was coming in. And quickly, everybody got the binders back except one. They're looking for that binder. I wonder why. Is Nicolas Maduro an informant against the CIA for laundering election theft technology like Smartmatic and Dominion through Venezuela? Now, that is a big question. What do we know about the capture of Nicolas Maduro? Well, we know what the administration has told us. Marco Rubio made it clear yesterday on Capitol Hill. He was like, look, or on Wednesday, he's like, this is a known narco terrorist. He's an enemy combatant of the American people. He's tried to kill our people by importing his stuff. We do not recognize him as the sitting president of Venezuela. He was not duly elected. And so we went in, we neutralized that threat, and we brought him here to face charges. Or we brought him here so we could put Wonder Woman's lasso around him. Because what does that do? All of a sudden, he's got to talk. What did you do and when? How do you know about our elections? Who's been corrupted in them? What about your technology, the software? Oh, wait a minute. These people over here in these other countries, they have access to the data. They can change the data in real time. You knew about this and you've been working with who in Congress? You think those aren't the questions being asked of this guy who's singing right now? Of course he is. But this is where the real story is, I think. And your deep state's not going to cover this. Trump confirms taking Maduro into custody. This is literally what Donald Trump posted. He posted the video about Dominion voting machine fraud. Dominion voting machine fraud. The same Dominion that went after Fox News And somehow Fox had almost $1 billion to settle with them. Wasn't that crazy? Went after Newsmax, went after individual networks, OAN, went after all of them, right? Why? We're going to threaten you with lawsuits so that you don't talk about our company. You do not talk about what happened that day in 2020 and what happened in 2022 and what we tried to pull off in 2024, except everybody's onto us now. Trump is onto it. He's been saying this from the beginning. And he confirmed that taking Maduro into custody relates to CIA laundering election rigging technology through Venezuela by basically posting this video. And I want to play a little bit of it for you here in a moment. But I want you to hear Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson has Representative Barry Loudermilk on. And Benny is asking Congressman Loudermilk, look, you've got the inside info on some of this stuff. Was Nicolas Maduro's capture, was it in part to expose Venezuela's role in manipulating our elections? And this is the answer.
Do you believe that this raid on Nicolas Maduro has something to do with election theft?
Well, I mean, it could. That hasn't been made public, but now that he is in custody, I'm sure that is something that is of interest to the FBI, to the State Department, and to the administration. Is what did you know? When did you know it? Were you involved in this? Look, there is a reason that the Democrats are so upset over the apprehension of him. Right? He was the bad guy to them. Most people are going to say it's Trump derangement syndrome. They all of a sudden don't like it because he's the one who caught him. And they're all upset over Maduro, but they were okay with Obama going in and actually killing Osama bin Laden, right? You would think if they were upset, they would be upset over actually going in and taking somebody's life, not just arresting them. So a lot of their opposition to this just doesn't make a lot of sense. And it could be because it's the beginning of unraveling some things that they don't want unraveled. I don't know, but you have to be suspicious and you have to look into everything.
How much they went after Rudy Giuliani. How far and how hard they went after Sidney Powell, one of Trump's attorneys. How hard they went after all of these people. Mike Lindell, right? Mike Lindell became the poster child. They tried to make Mike Lindell seem like a lunatic because he was so serious, so dogged about pursuing election fraud. And he had resources. He was dangerous. He was a threat. And so what did they do? This guy, Eric Coomer, who's a Dominion Systems executive, he's the guy who we knew was saying to people before the election in 2020, don't you worry about it. I'll effing make sure Trump doesn't win. And it's like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania as Attorney General in 2020, why would he say when all the votes are counted, Joe Biden will win? Who says that? Right? It doesn't make sense until it all makes sense. And it all is going to make a lot more sense now that Nicolas Maduro is in U.S. Trump administration custody. I want you to hear Tommy Tuberville, senator, says he believes Maduro is in fact singing, but that election interference started well before him, actually in Cuba.
I don't think there's any doubt, that now this didn't start under Maduro. It started under Hugo Chavez, the president before that, because he got recalled in an election, and he came up with this system of machines that he was able to put out within his country and got himself elected. And then when that happened, he said, heck, we'll just do this internationally. So they started selling them all over the world, and that's how we ended up with them here. And now they're all controlled by a tech group in Venezuela. But I would hope that he would be singing, as you said, like a canary and telling people what's really going on. I would think that this is a lot of why President Trump went in there, because he knows the world cannot survive with crooks running the voting systems, not just in our country, but all over the world. And we cannot allow these machines to continue on. We have to have paper ballots, one-day voting, and everybody has to show up with an ID. If we don't do that, it's going to be over. We cannot survive like this.
And this is the video that President Trump retruthed. It is a 5-minute video about election fraud. We isolated a specific part that speaks very granularly about Arizona. Listen, again, Trump put this out.
I'm Eric Spakeen. I'm a forensic chemist and a forensic document analyst. That means I deal with all aspects of question documents, when they were made, if they've been altered, changed, or added to, and how long ink has been on paper. I was asked if I had experience in election matters to look at primarily printing processes, machine copied marks, CPS code, which is a counterfeit protection system. And I said that I did, and I traveled to Arizona with 3 other people from my office that I had. Number one is that there were a series of ballots that I examined the photographs of. And Dominion, as the election subcontractor, produced ballots for each of the zones or districts that were involved, at least in the area that I looked at here in Maricopa County. And there were 5,000 approximately, a little over, different ballots. As you know, in a state, there could be 2 different senator races. There could be 10 different House races. And all the permutations and combinations is what gives you the 5,000. So they create a final ballot for each one of these districts or zones or regions, so that when you go in and you give your name and it knows you're from this area, you would get this ballot to vote on all the issues that pertain to you, and only the issues that pertain to you. And I found that there were about 25,000 ballots that were not printed from the official Dominion PDF ballot. In other words, the printing process, appearance, is completely different than what you would get from a first-generation PDF printing. As you can imagine, the lines are perfect. So they're perfectly straight, no breaks in them, the circles or ovals as they may be, and they're a solid line. When I examined some of the early voting ballots and election day ballots from various polling locations, there were about 25,000 that did not have printing from this perfect PDF, as you would expect, but instead had breaks in all the same places around an oval. So you can look at one of the ovals and there are imperfections in the line, and they're in the same place on every single one of these ballots.
These 25,000 unidentifiable ballots alone represent over double the amount of Joe Biden's 10,457 vote
margin of victory. The video cuts off. That's what Donald Trump retruthed yesterday. That video of an expert on paper and ballots telling you there ain't no way what they were doing in Arizona was lawful. Right? And how about like 98% of the ballots went to Joe Biden? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the Wall Street Journal is not pleased at all that this election stuff is being talked about. And they're super upset that Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, why ever would she be in Fulton County, Georgia, looking into this? That's not normal. Oh, get ready for the new normal, ladies and gentlemen. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. This woman, too, there's one Republican in the Fulton County elections division. And I'm going to read you what she said when we come back, because it's almost like people have been asking for this for 5 years, you know? And it shouldn't take this long. It shouldn't take a January 6th. It shouldn't take any of this to wake people up and have them respond. All right. Bloodflow7. Bloodflow7.com. I want to read you something about that. I think their information is so fascinating, because I can tell you how I feel, and they can tell you about like the physiology of what's going on when you take it. Hold on. You know what? A lot of you men out there, I don't know how many of you pay attention to your testosterone. It's not really something we do any more than I pay attention to my estrogen. I figure I've got to be a prune inside since I'm 55. I'm like, but you guys, you want to worry about your testosterone. You want to protect it. You want to stay healthy. You want to stay well. You want to be strong as you get older, right? Life gets busy. And this is one of these supplements. And I don't advocate a lot of supplements. This is something that I think is huge. Alpha Gold Male. If your strength, energy, or drive have slipped, It's not a mindset issue. It's what your body does with age, but you can fight it. As men age, testosterone signaling, mitochondrial energy, so the powerhouse of your cell, it's like, meh, it runs on empty. All this stuff declines, right? And that means weaker workouts, whether or not you're working out. If you're doing anything that involves strength, you just don't feel that strong anymore. And it's slower muscle repair, low motivation, and it also has an effect on your sleep. If for no other reason, you're a man or a woman and you don't sleep well, would you please go to Juvenon, go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy and either get this, all people can have this, bloodflow7.com, okay? The Alpha Gold Meal for the guys, it's just off the chart. It includes ashwagandha, which is studied for supporting testosterone signaling, stress resilience, and recovery. Also, an extract I can't pronounce. I have to buy a couple vowels on that one. Help support mitochondrial energy and nutrient transport. It has fenugreek for healthy testosterone pathways. Also, zinc and magnesium, which is nighttime recovery. So while you're sleeping, your body is working to recover from what you've spent during the day. Alpha Gold Male for men. Try the Blood Flow 7 for women. And they have a bundle. Put them together and save money at bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I've given it to people. I believe that strongly in it. I'm like, oh, you're lagging, you're struggling, you're not feeling great, you're sluggish, can't sleep. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. You have to tell me that you need more Chuck juice, right? Is that what you said, Brock?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get you more. Somebody asked, why is Brock still drinking his Chuck juice? We don't hear from them anymore. Advertisers cycle. They come in, they come out. They're out for now. I don't know if they'll come back.
But the answer is yes.
But I do love it. I love what they do.
Every day.
Yeah, every day. Whether or not they find value in us, we find value in them. So we continue. I mean, it's their business decision, whatever. They clearly don't understand how fabulous I am, but some people are a little slow on that.
Silver's down $38 now.
Really?
You can't tell me something's not happening.
So what is it down to?
78, I think.
All right, if it gets down to 50 again, I'm buying. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, Wall Street Journal isn't all that pleased that Tulsi Gabbard was in Georgia. Tulsi Gabbard doesn't take shade from anyone. And she's badass, pure and simple. She's a warrior and she's a patriot. And Donald Trump saw that in her a long time ago when he made her the director of national intelligence. I want to read you a little bit of this Wall Street Journal blurb, this article, because I think if you read between the lines, it's not hard at all to tell that they're really sweating. That they thought they had adjudicated 2020. They had demonized all the people. They had executed their lawfare on people. People were afraid to speak. They went after all of the media corporations, sued them for gazillions of dollars. And everybody's all sphinctered up about saying anything about election fraud. It's Lord Voldemort. Shh. Don't say that name. Election denier. The director of national intelligence is leading an administration-wide effort to hunt for proof of tampering in the election that Trump lost. It's not about tampering. It's about a wholesale theft of our election system. Let's go. Here's from the Wall Street Journal. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, has spent months investigating the results of the 2020 election that Donald Trump lost, according to White House officials, a role that took her to a related FBI search of an election center in Georgia on Wednesday. Gabbard is leading the administration's effort to re-examine the election and to look for potential crimes, which is a priority for the president. The National Intelligence Director is usually focused on ensuring the president has the best intelligence available to make national security decisions. Gabbard has been sidelined from some of those deliberations, including the Venezuela operation earlier this month, The Wall Street Journal has reported. She's begun studying information about voting. This is where everybody gets sphinctered. About voting. Literally, Trump has said, we're going to do Venezuela and Maduro. I need you over here, Tulsi, okay? This is your jam. This is where I need you to be. She has begun studying information about voting machines. She's analyzed data from swing states and pursued theories that President Trump has promoted to claim the 2020 election was unfairly taken from him, the officials said, particularly on foreign government interference. She has regularly briefed Trump and Chief of Staff Susie Wiles about her inquiry in recent months, along with others involved in the investigation. Those include senior department officials, blah, blah, blah. Gabbard is consulted with others in the intelligence community about claims of foreign interference in the 2020 election. This all goes back to what? Is it Nicolas Maduro? Is it Venezuela? Is it Smartmatic? Is it Dominion voting systems? Is it Serbia, Russia, China? What is it? Well, there's every reason the director of national intelligence would be there. She's expected to prepare a report on her work, the people said. The administration has discussed executive orders on voting ahead of the midterm elections, two of the officials said. Cybersecurity specialists, elections experts, and many former top security officials who worked for Trump during his first term have maintained for years that there was no evidence of widespread tampering or fraud in the 2020 contest. Okay, well, let's put it to bed then. What do you all say? I say let's put it to bed. Let's air it. Let's put it out there, dig into it, show us what you've got, and then what? DNI Gabbard has and will continue to take actions within our authorities. Blah, 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 spokeswoman for the DNI said. And then the Wall Street Journal goes back to its favorite lines. Trump has been fixated on the 2020 election since losing, regularly raising it both publicly and with friends and aides. His second administration's intent and dedication of resources to investigating the race has only recently come into public view. On Wednesday, FBI agents searched the main elections office in Fulton County, Georgia, seeking records related to the 2020 race. A U.S. official familiar with the warrant said it authorized agents to look for physical ballots, voter rolls from that year, ballot images created by scanning ballots and tabulator tapes, and all sorts of other things. But we should probably be reminded, isn't there something like 315,000 missing scanned images? Aren't we all supposed to be like, oh, this is like the January 6th committee where the House changes power and they're like, you know what, we want all of your recommendations, all of your files, all of your videos. Benny Thompson, head of the committee, and he's like, wait, what? What do you mean records? I was supposed to keep everything? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I don't have any of that stuff. And you're supposed to accept that as being just, oops. How about next time you try not to do that again? Well, see, if you had all of that stuff, you would have Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony. Remember her? J6 star witness who lied for the cameras, who lied for that general presentation to the world, who lied and said a deranged Donald Trump grabbed the steering wheel and lunged for it to take me to the Capitol. Because that sounds just like Donald Trump. See, it's all connected, ladies and gentlemen, and Tulsi Gabbard has been basically named point. And President Trump, I'm pretty sure, is aware of the fact that she'll get the job done. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Tulsi. Let's talk about her job and watch Nicole Wallace melt down next. I got stuck on the Wall Street Journal there. You got stuck doing something else too. What were you reading?
Stocks, but I was getting the Andrew McCabe. There's something in the StreamYard system that keeps jumbling them up.
Okay. Well, I'm just not on track, so that's my fault.
No.
But I think listening to the media flip out. So in this instance, Brock, we'll start with Andy McCabe, okay? And then we'll go into Wallace.
Okay.
So the story on the media side is going to be, there's no reason for her to be there. This is ridiculous. Why would the director of national intelligence be there? Right? Trying to demean and is like, ugh. But there's a good reason. Trump has put her in charge of it, which is very interesting. Right? He's securing deals with other countries. He's like, hey, Tulse, can you help a brother out? And she's like, all right, I got you. I love it. What do we want to do? How about Ireland contracting? Ireland contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I will say this, that it's amazing even in the cold. Now, this is too cold for the construction, but if it gets, I mean, it's frigid here. What's the temperature here now, Brock?
14.
Ooh, oh yeah, it says it on the computer. 14 degrees. Yeah, your roofers aren't going to be out today in 14 degrees, but if it's not snowing and it's not terrible out, you know Ireland contracting will be working. That's what Gary and Diane Ireland started 30 odd years ago as they started their family, was a mom and pop construction business that you could rely on, that stands by the work it does, that hires the best installers. And some of these guys are like, they're ridiculous craftsmen who come out to your house and can crawl around and put on a new roof and nobody's business. It's crazy. They stand by the work they do. They're fair, they're honest, and you can rely on them. I think that's the greatest compliment I can give them. You can depend on them. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com, whether it's roofing or siding or new windows or gutters or a skylight or sun tunnel, whatever you want, they do it. And they're great. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the stock market, all of them are down. It just makes me wonder. You have to wonder, and I'm sure they're going to push out that it's because Trump said he's going to name a new Fed, and the uneasy of not knowing what that guy thinks or what they're planning throws that into semi-chaos. But remember when he did the tariffs, the market plunged. I told a friend, if I had $10,000 right now, and that friend did have it, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna jump in. And he told me like 3 months later, he's like, holy cow, I made X amount of money. And it's like, man, if I only had 10 grand. Yeah, well, what did they say? People get rich buying when everybody else is selling, and I think that's what it is everybody else, people panic, and that's when rich people jump in and buy all the gold and silver. I'm thinking Wendy Bell Radio needs to make an investment in silver.
Oh, you think I do, huh?
I'm just keeping an eye out.
You guys, this might be the time, honest to goodness, to hook up with Texas Bullion. Wendy
79.61 now.
What was it when you started?
10.
No, I mean like this morning.
Right, when the market opened?
Yeah.
It was,
oh, really?
It was like 104.
Oh my God. Wow. Don Lemming.
Rich people buy when it goes down. That's Warren Buffett, 101. When everybody else panics, he buys.
267. Okay, guys, come on. There's no reason for us to not get to 3.5 today. So if you're new to the channel or you're watching beyond your normal time, like you normally would watch 9 to noon with us before we switched our time, you can still rumble after the show is live, and it counts for us. So it matters. Like, don't think, oh, the show is done. It doesn't matter. If you can click that thumbs up bubble underneath the video box, that's a huge thing for us. And then hit follow. Follow, because we're trying to get to 100,000 followers. This is all organic. It's not like we've got some big push behind us. It's you and us every day. And so I'm grateful for you. Thank you. All right, Andy McCabe.
So we're starting with him?
We will start with him.
Okay.
Yeah. It actually works a little bit better, even though I did mess it
I
up.
was just looking at you, waiting to hit it. And
Yeah, I'm
just
sorry.
did not look at the time.
No,
that's my fault.
did I? No. I was like, Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends. Common sense conservatism that just feels right, because it is. I want you to hear how the media are reacting to the idea that Tulsi Gabbard is getting really on the ground and in front of this whole investigation in Fulton County, Georgia, about what happened in 2020, getting all the documents, getting all of the files, all the machines, and digging into it the way she does. And I want you to hear, this is hilarious. CNN is super upset that Tulsi Gabbard is involved here. And so they bring in deep state hack, former FBI director Andrew McCabe to try to derail her and to try to besmirch her credibility and to say she has no reason to be on the ground in Fulton County. Sounds like they're afraid over at CNN. Why?
One of the oddest moments about this raid, and there are many, as John was just laying out the history here, is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was on the ground. Why would she need to be there?
Well, Phil, that is just one of the many questions we have without answers right now. But in short, she has no reason to be there. If you look at the Homeland Security Act of 2002, which created the position of the Director of National Intelligence in the way that we now know it, the DNI, as we call them, has no operational role, not in intelligence and certainly not in domestic law enforcement. So there is no legitimate reason why Tulsi Gabbard should have been there. Would she have seen any intelligence if produced from this search? Eventually, certainly, but she has no role in executing a search warrant.
Wow, that's like 5 times we heard them say that. No role. She has no role. Did you guys know that apparently she has no role? Except Donald Trump said, hey, Tulsi, I got a role for you. And it's yours. And they're like, what? Now it gets even creepier over at MS Now. I hate that. It's such a bad name. So bad. But you've got this out of, here, let me see this. So Trump confirms Tulsi Gabbard is assisting the Fulton County 2020 election investigation. And he said this, he says, you're going to see some interesting things happening. Wait, what? What does Donald Trump do? Well, he trolls people beautifully, but he also connects directly with you. And he tells you exactly what's going on. Gabbard was present on Wednesday as the FBI executed these search warrants in Georgia, blah, blah, blah. Senator Mark Warner and Rep. Jim Hines, top Democrats on committees overseeing national intelligence. They're calling on Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, to brief them on why she was present at an FBI search. You know what? Sit down. I don't need to tell you anything. I don't work for you. I work at the behest of the President of the United States. And he's told me, this is your job. And so that's where I'm going. And Nicole Wallace, if you've ever seen people wear their emotions on their sleeve, I've been accused of that. I can fake it, I guess. Nicole Wallace isn't a good faker. She looks like somebody just, strangled her dog. She looks like she's about to cry. And her voice and the whole vibe of this interchange she's about to have with this reporter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is just, wow, does it tell you everything and more. Here she is, Nicole Wallace, just absolutely aghast. She wants you to believe that the whole thing going on in Georgia is just some new, attempt to relitigate what happened, some tired old story because Trump can't admit that he lost. Really, listen to her, though.
There are details that are frankly insane, even for Donald Trump today, on what from the outside appears to be a fabricated effort to relitigate the 2020 election that Donald Trump lost. That is despite people like Bill Barr saying there was zero evidence of fraud there. The most bizarre development, we learned last night that for some reason, Donald Trump's director of national intelligence, a job created after 9/11 to look at all of the intelligence and threats abroad. The person who has that job now under Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, was on site in Georgia during the FBI search of the Fulton County election office. According to new reporting in the Wall Street Journal, Tulsi Gabbard was there because she has, quote, spent months investigating the results of the 2020 election that Donald Trump lost. That's according to White House officials. Tulsi Gabbard is leading the Trump administration's effort to re-examine the election and look for potential crimes, the official said. Not her job at all to look for crimes as the DNI.
Wow, what kind of crimes are you worried about her finding? That's not supposed to be her job to find those crimes, right? What are you so worried about, Nicole? What? Why do you talk like this? It's not her job to be there. Well, it seems like y'all are a little nervous. And this is where she brings in her guest. And this guy from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, she sounds literally devastated as she introduces him. And he also is very low energy, very low energy. It seems like everybody there feels like they know what's coming.
In a statement, Trump officials told our network that Tulsi Gabbard has a, quote, pivotal role in election security. As for what was taken yesterday, one Fulton County commissioner says that the FBI took, quote, pallets of ballots from the office. I want to bring in Atlanta Journal-Constitution chief political reporter Greg Bluestein, who witnessed the FBI while they were at the Fulton office. Andrew's still here. Greg, what's going on?
Besides you wanting to die, apparently, she's so Brock, am I overseeing this? Because this is truly a sight to behold.
No, she looks like somebody just told her dog died.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. And she's trying desperately to come up with a reason why Tulsi Gabbard shouldn't be there. But other than, let's hear if her guest can make things make more sense. He seems to know nothing at all, but will surely take this time to speculate on what it all means and maybe take a few digs at people. Let's go.
Well, a lot's going on, but there's even more questions that we don't know the answers to right now. But what we do know is about 700 boxes were obtained by the FBI, seized by the FBI at the Fulton County office yesterday. Fulton County officials have dreaded this for the last year. There were rumors a year ago that this would happen.
Oh, there's rumors that this was going to happen. It's almost like people have been talking about it for 5 years. It's such a shock. What? People came and they were talking about the 2020 election. Donald Trump, who's been talking about it nonstop for 5 years. It's such a shocker to all of us. We just don't know what to do. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And it gets sillier because, of course, then you've got to bring in other people. He goes on and says, look, or Nicole Wallace goes on, and Republican-controlled state election board may take over Fulton County's election. Oh, no, that means that we'll never get safe and fair elections again with Republicans in charge. Right. Listen.
So they've been on alert for a long time, although it came as a surprise that the day was yesterday, even after Donald Trump has been repeatedly kind of hinting at this for a while. Even in Davos, he talked about some sort of action being taken soon. Now we know at least one of those actions is this warrant. Georgia officials are trying to figure out what's next. Fulton County officials are in a state of somewhat shock, but they're also trying to plan out litigation. And in Georgia, there are serious concerns from Democrats that the end game here is for the state, the Republican-controlled state election board, to take over Fulton County elections, which would be the most taking over the elections of the most populous county in Georgia and one of the biggest Democratic strongholds in Georgia.
It's so shocking that would be the epicenter of alleged suck, right? They're really concerned that the Republican-controlled state election board is going to take things. They should, and they're shocked. They're like, this is totally caught him off guard. Well, has he not been talking about this pretty much every time he has a live microphone near him? When he talks about 2020, totally stolen, totally rigged. They stole that election. When has he been wrong? They spied on my election, Leslie. No, Mr. President, this is 60 Minutes. We can't. Leslie, they spied on my Russia was really? And then This is where Andrew Weissman comes in. He's going to come in. He's, by the way, he's the guy was involved with the Mueller report, right? He lost his security clearance from the president because he's such a dope. Here's Andrew Weissman asking about Tulsi. Seems like the knives are out for Tulsi Gabbard. I like it.
I mean, Andrew Weissman, the problem is Donald Trump is focused on them. They are his agenda. What is Tulsi Gabbard doing there?
So, this is where the Wall Street Journal basically gives us the answer, and it's a warning. It says that we should anticipate that she will issue a report and that we may also anticipate further presidential executive orders. I remember being on the show repeatedly with you, Nicole, when we talked about her claims about 2016 in Russia and how it was absolutely loony. There was no evidence to support what she was saying. It had been disproved up one side and down the other.
Who disproves things? Do you disprove something by refusing to hear it, by silencing those who want to speak about something, by throwing them in jail, i.e. Tina Peters? Do you disprove something by demonizing Mike Lindell or Rudy Giuliani or Sidney Powell or any of these other people? Is that disproving it, or is that proving that you don't want people to know the truth? Because there's a difference, Andrew. And by the way, for you to suggest that Tulsi Gabbard, according to the Wall Street Journal of Suck, is going to come out, she's going to write a fake report that's going to say all this fake stuff, that is the definition of Marxism, guys. Always blame your enemy about of doing what you're presently doing. Accuse them of doing what you're guilty of doing right now. That is exactly what's going on. Fake, 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 fake. She's going to call out the fake, but we're going to say she's going to say something that's fake because that's what we're doing. It's dizzying, but yet you know what I'm talking about. And by the way, we do remember this flashback. Donald Trump signing an executive order targeting that law firm that had Andrew Weissman. Why was that again? Let's listen to Will Scharf.
We have an executive order for your attention. We've taken action against a number of law firms that have participated either in the weaponization of government, the weaponization of the legal system for political ends, or have otherwise engaged in illegal or inappropriate activities. The law firm of Jenner and Block is one of these law firms. This is a law firm that, as you know, employed Andrew Weissman after he came off of the Mueller investigation. It's a law firm that's engaged in invidious racially and sexually discriminatory practices. It's also a law firm that has participated in the weaponization of the legal system against American principles and values. And we believe that the measures in this executive order will help correct that.
And Andrew Weissman is the main culprit?
He's certainly...
With respect to this firm?
He is one of a number of reasons that we believe this executive order is warranted.
He's a bad guy.
Okay, when the president of the United States is signing an executive order and mentions your name on live television as he signs it with his big giant Sharpie, you know you're a filthy dirtbag of the swamp. And he's one of the star contributors of MS Now. Okay, they're freaking, and I'm loving this. Okay, so let's speak about Russia. And Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi dropped some documents that prove who was behind the 2016 conspiracy to destroy Donald Trump. I'll give you one guess. And the middle name is Hussein. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I think it's hilarious. What do they have? Why is Tulsi there? Well, because this is what she does, and Donald Trump knows this is what she does, and she's badass, and so he's unleashing Tulsi there. And oh snap, all we can do is, I don't know, quote some hack article in the Wall Street Journal about how Tulsi shouldn't be there and all this other stuff, and how she's probably going to put out a fake report to try to throw everybody off that there was no fraud. And it's like, really? That's as good as you've got?
You mean like the fake report Hillary Clinton put out?
Oh, which one was that?
The Russia one.
Yeah.
The dossier, Steele dossier.
That's such a thing of beauty, right? My kids could write something more understandable or more believable than that. Oh, good. Okay, Ryan, good.
When are you buying silver? What price?
60. Should I get in touch with my guy?
It's at 83 right now.
Okay.
And before people start asking, yes, there is a Sunday show. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Iowa Hawkeyes 1, 2, 3. You said 50. Be quiet.
What?
You said 50 before. When are you going to buy? You
Oh,
said
did I say 50? Okay,
No,
we'll
she
wait till
means
50.
60.
I'll say 50. That's
Way to
fine.
go, Iowa Hawkeye 1, 2, 3.
That's fine. I can do that.
I think 60s.
Let's talk about, who do I want to talk about? How about the Simkovich Concussion Institute? I have to say that the doctors who I know, Dr. Mike, world-renowned veterinarian, right? Dr. Dubiak, guy who knows everything about weight loss and hormones. Dr. Simkovich, your brain specialist, and Dr. Rafferty for the spine. I think your body is pretty well covered, right? And when it comes to matters of the brain, that's a delicate matter. You don't just go to a PCP and get a prescription if you think you have a concussion. Brain injuries are killers. They are a leading cause of death among older Americans, falling and hitting your head and being concussed. If you have something that happens to you, whether it's an accident or what have you, even if it's something as, I don't know why I cannot shake these headaches, or I'm just off kilter, my vestibular system seems screwy, I don't know where to go. Dr. Simkovich can adjust you and move the pieces that have gotten out of whack back in place and heal your brain. He can feel with his fingers on your in your mouth if your brain has been hurt. And he's been doing it for years. And there are thousands upon thousands of success stories. People who go in literally incapacitated, who leave next week in charge of their lives again. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. People fly in from around the country to see him because you have nothing to lose except your symptoms. I love him. He's great. Don't tell his wife. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. All right, so as we're talking about the deep state and the left all wigging out over Tulsi Gabbard on the ground looking into this election fraud from 2020, President Trump dropped some documents that prove, or I should say Tulsi did, dropped some documents that prove who was behind the Russiagate conspiracy and the coup against Donald Trump. Documents have now officially been turned over to the DOJ. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, released a bombshell report with new and damning information Wednesday. She shared with White House reporters at the Daily Briefing that the documents reveal it was, yes, Barack Obama and the FBI and the CIA leadership at the time to sabotage Donald Trump before he even stepped into office. I want you to think about that. Alexander No Lip Vindman, who fancies himself a congressman, loser, was the guy who blew the whistle along with Eric Charmella on that phone call with Trump and Zelensky. And they impeached President Trump over that phone call because it's ridiculous, but that's what they did. Meantime, you have an acting president, a sitting president, working to subvert the election of and the incoming administration of the winner of the next election. Say what? This is so beyond our wildest nightmares. Gabbard released one House intelligence report that had been locked up in a CIA vault for almost a decade. It's now clear that Obama doctored the information to make it look like Vladimir Putin and his buddy Donald Trump stole the election. Isn't that interesting? Tulsi Gabbard, dog on a bone. There were 4 key elements in the report about the fake Russian collusion nonsense that formed the basis of the Russian hoax. 1, that Putin wanted Donald Trump to win in 2016. 2, that Putin took action to help Donald Trump win in 2016. 3, Russia had blackmail evidence against Donald Trump, the Steele dossier. And number 4, that Russia tried to collude with the Trump campaign. It was all a lie. Okay, so everything that the media are telling you right now about anything relevant today, apply the same coverage, the same standards to what they've told you about this. They lie. When they're speaking to you, they are lying to you. Michael Schellenberger, one of the independent reporters who was given access to the Twitter files, he was on last night with Jesse Waters, and they're talking about this is a pretty big deal. He says, our sources tell us under Barack Obama, the CIA was asking the Five Eyes nations, all of the English-speaking nations, to basically bump 26 known Trump associates to try to create some kind of scut, some kind of story, because the wiretapping didn't work. Listen.
Well, obviously, this is an extremely serious story and serious allegation by multiple credible sources that Public and Racket, that's Matt Taibbi's publication, have spoken to. These are people that are close to the House intelligence investigation of how the Russia collusion hoax began. The story, as you mentioned, was that, we were just informed by foreign intelligence about this. Our sources tell us a very different story, which is that this was initiated by the U.S. government. It came from within the U.S. government's intelligence community, including the CIA, that they asked the so-called Five Eyes nations intelligence agencies, that's the other English-speaking nations, including Britain and Australia, to spy on 26 Trump associates, or at least they had a list of the 26 associates that were identified. This is new information. Some people have theorized about this and speculated about it. We feel very confident that our sources were in a position to know and are very credible in this report. And it's obviously a very serious allegation because this is illegal spying and it's illegal election interference.
100% the biggest crime of the century. Hey, Michael, what about this binder that I know a lot of us have been talking about? What do you know about that?
There has been widespread speculation that this binder was the reason or a reason for the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago, and we'll be discussing that tomorrow. But obviously, if this binder contains what we have been told that it contains, which may include raw intelligence, information showing that the U.S. government, the CIA and the intelligence community of the U.S. government, initiated the Russia collusion hoax, that it did not occur in the way that the official story, including the Durham investigation, had portrayed it, then that's extremely serious information. And it may be, if the FBI then went to go get it in order to continue the cover-up of this information, that obviously adds an even more dramatic wrinkle to this. Again, we'll have more to say about it tomorrow, but this is a huge, huge story. I mean, I've been thinking about it in the history of the United States of America. Have we ever had something like this where the intelligence community was weaponized against a political candidate and using our foreign allies to do it? I can't think of a more important or dramatic story.
And so as you sit here today, just discussing with me all of these stories of the day, of the week, of the decade, when do they tell you the truth? What has the Democrat Party, what have the media told us that's reality? Because they lie about everything. What Barack Obama did, I'm not so sure I have words for that right now. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour number 3, Dominion voting. They might want to be, I don't know, dusting off their checkbooks because of the information coming out about those cats and who use their technology from what country to do what to our elections. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's crazy. It's crazy, but completely predictable. Oh, I got a sniper testimonial yesterday. So excited. Hold on. It was wonderful. It has to do with the beautiful flag. The 250th anniversary flag. This is from, oh, it's beautiful. It's hanging up in this man's room. My flag, he says, got my flag, and it's on the wall of my bedroom, Daniel. And it's really pretty. It looks great. Disinfectwithsniper.com. I get testimonials all the time about Sniper. Not just about the products, but people love the products. They love Sniper. They love Knockout. They love Harmony. And everything else that's on the website. They love the responsiveness of Sniper to their needs. So if you have a problem, if you have a question, and you get in touch with the folks there, they're going to get back in touch with you. Orders are literally processed the same day. And so you're not waiting weeks for your products to come to you. This is a small business guy who's made a great living off of basically being a cornerstone of one of our local communities here in Pittsburgh. And he was super excited to be able to get Sniper and to be able to put it on the market for you so that you could get it at your house. It's important.
This is the first place he came.
Disinfectwithsniper.com. Right?
Yep.
Well, he's your best friend, so.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with it.
Oh, right.
No, it really didn't. I was telling him no. I told him because I didn't want to do.
You didn't want to mingle.
You know, when there's business and friendship, that you always hear how it ends up poorly. You know, and he said, I want to launch with you guys.
How's he liking it so far?
Oh. You guys saved him when he needed it. You guys were there when he at the absolute needed it, you know, and it's funny because after being wildly successful with you guys, he decided to go to a radio station. And they tried to negotiate with him after the fact. He's like, I hope you realize that I can only advertise here because they're covering you. And they just looked at him and said, he said, can you beat these? And they're like, no.
It's because of you. This is why I talk to you guys all the time. I mean, it's not sunshine. It's for sure. I'm a hot mess today. I've decided.
And everybody told him when he finally said, because you guys, here's the nice thing about him being my friend is that I take what you guys say and I tell him. Full transparency. I say, hey, listen,
70 to go, guys. To 3. Let's go.
People are not kosher with the shipping. And he's like, I can't change anything about it. Like I'm not making any money off the shipping. It is what it is. He's like, the shipping is almost like the stock market. It goes up and down. And then one day he finally just said, I'm going to try this. Free shipping on everything. Everybody told him he was stupid. And he says, I'll do it for a month. I'll do it for a month and see how much if I lose. He's like, I'm willing to do that for a month. He did it for a week. You guys jumped over the free shipping to where he was able to gauge within that week that, hey, we can take on. His big thing was taking on Amazon. It's like, we can take on Amazon. And after a week, he's like, okay, I'm just going free shipping, period.
Yep. You know, and I think that I don't want to work with unscrupulous people. I don't want to work with people who don't care about you, you know, and I won't. And you've seen us struggle with certain products where we just didn't like how the customer service was or whatever. You know, it's not worth it to me. at all.
I get emails and text messages from him. He's like, we took care of a Wendy Bell listener. Like, disinfectwithsniper.com. You guys are the only, there's no promo codes anymore because this is the only place he uses it.
And he's shipped to all 50 states.
Yeah. Which was cool to him being from Bethel Park.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of you guys have gone into his store. And he tells me about it.
You're special. Duh. Looks
He did say to me, I've never seen an audience so loyal.
Mm.
He's like, they love you guys.
I'm glad. I mean,
which is nice to hear. It's nice to hear too from a client, right? I tried to just gloss over it. And
pay attention to me.
Okay.
I'm getting sick. I don't want to get sick. Got to take my immune super boost home. This whole Dominion thing, it makes me very angry. The bullying tactics, strong arming. Fox folding so quickly. Why would that be?
Fox owns the Wall Street Journal. The Murdochs.
I hate them. Sorry. Ooh. Wall Street Journal is very disappointing. It pisses me off that I pay out the wazoo for it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Wendy Bell radio program. This is our 3rd hour live on the clock. I'm going to take you back in time to June of last year. My Pillow boss Mike Lindell loses $2.3 million defamation case. This is an article at the BBC. It says Mike Lindell, chief executive of My Pillow and staunch supporter of Donald Trump, has lost a defamation case brought by a former employee of a voting equipment company. A jury in Denver, Colorado, ordered Mr. Lindell to pay $2.3 million to Eric Coomer. A former security and product strategy director at Dominion Voting Systems. Lindell falsely accused Mr. Coomer of helping to rig the 2020 vote, which was won by Joe Biden. During the 2-week trial, Lindell stuck by baseless claims that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. Dominion itself has filed cases against several Trump allies who it accuses of spreading lies about the company's voting machines. See, this is different than when the president sues 60 Minutes and CBS for selective editing. This is different, right? Because the president is saying, you have slandered me. You have created an idea of something I did not do, things I did not say, and then you're going to try to blame me for a, quote, insurrection at the Capitol. I'm going to sue you into the middle of next week, and he wins because they know they're going to lose. Dominion and this Eric Coomer guy kind of got out ahead of their skis. In the case of Dominion, they just sued everybody and their brother. Dominion, if we're being honest, and we are, has an awful lot of answering to do. And now they're going to have to. They're going to have to explain what happens with all of the information that was taken from the Fulton County, Georgia warehouse, the election warehouse, all of the 2020 stuff. They're going to have to answer these questions. And people like Mike Lindell, who dared to go out and say, I believe that this election was stolen. I believe that the American people were fleeced. He's going to have a hell of a countersuit on his hands. And this is why I'm telling you guys this, all right? It's just so weird that Mike Lindell would have to pay a $2.3 million defamation judgment or settlement against the very Dominion executive who now admits that he worked with foreign actors to help them access Dominion voting machines. Wait, what? So let's kind of go over what's been happening behind the scenes here. I tell you about what happened last year with Mike Lindell, because that's what they do. That's the deep state reaction. It is a flood. It is a flood the zone, full court press. I'm going to seek and destroy. And the whole point is to find a few people you can pick off along the way and bury in litigation and bury and bankrupt. And they basically bankrupted Mike Lindell. Right? And we're going to use them as examples so that if you, Sheila, in, Akron, if you think you're going to get something and you're going to say something about us, you're going to think twice. You're going to say, mum's the word. And it worked. So here's what's been happening behind the scenes, and it's important. Former Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne. He's been like Mike Lindell. These guys say they have evidence and they have money, and they've used their own money to push forward the digging into 2020. Patrick Byrne is being sued federally by this Eric Coomer, the same way that Mike Lindell was, for defamation. However, discovery is kind of a biatch. So Eric Coomer, he's a muckety-muck at Dominion during the elections, and there's screen grabs of his where he's telling people, don't worry about it. I'm going to make effing sure Trump doesn't win. And so you're sort of like, that's kind of an odd thing to say as an executive of a voting system. So in his sworn admissions during a deposition earlier this week in his lawsuit against Patrick Byrne, Coomer had to acknowledge contacts he made with foreign nationals regarding Dominion voting systems technology, which defendants like Patrick Byrne cite as raising unresolved questions about election security, though courts have not ruled these as evidence of wrongdoing because they haven't allowed the cases to come forward, right? These statements emerged in discovery, which is sort of that kick in the pants when you're going to sue somebody. Well, you better be careful what you want to sue for because everything has to come out in the wash, right? These statements emerged in discovery, fueling renewed scrutiny, as in links to Mesa County, Colorado cases, right? Think about that. Tina Peters. What did Tina Peters do? Tina Peters is sitting and rotting in prison right now because she invited somebody into the Mesa County elections area to basically make a copy of a Dominion voting system before it got a software upgrade. And what was she able to identify in that? Oh, enough for her to get arrested and enough for a judge in Colorado to throw the book at her. And to throw her away for 9 years, hoping because of her frailty and some of her medical conditions that she would just expire in prison before she could speak, right? You see how all these things are connected? Patrick Byrne, again, former CEO of Overstock, was on with Emerald Robinson yesterday about this deposition that happened on Wednesday of Eric Coomer, this Dominion executive. And he reads Eric Coomer's statement admitting to talking to foreigners about Dominion source code. And he says, look, this whole system, what we're doing, it's all a front. This started in Venezuela. Bing, 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 bing. Listen.
They were forced to finally answer some questions last night, and they filed this acknowledging, I've had contact if you read to like the second, I don't know if you want to close in, it actually acknowledges if I've had contact with foreigners about Dominion soft code, base code, source code, programming. I've had contact overseas. I've had contact with people in the Dominion offices in Denver that I knew to be foreigners about our source code, blah, 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 blah. It's all spelled out there. He's acknowledged what has been denied for 5 years. This is a foreign operation. I can tell you it's all a front. Whatever we have in America is a front. Everything's really was spawned in Venezuela and then potted over in the operations were moved over in Serbia. This whole, and Fidel, I mean, I know this all, well, I don't know if it sounds crazy anymore. Fidel and Hugo and China, they all figured out 20, 25 years ago, they saw the opportunity to take down the West with this weapon. It's amazing.
It's amazing, he said. And so think about that. Makes us wonder, really, why Tina Peters is in jail. Well, she found out. Former Mesa County clerk in Colorado allowed unauthorized access to the Dominion voting system machines in 2021. She permitted this guy named Conan Hayes, using a borrowed security badge, to copy hard drives from election equipment before and after a software update while disabling surveillance cameras. She copied those hard drives during that update to check for vote discrepancies or manipulation algorithms driven by, quote, conspiracy theories from activists like those alleging remote vote flipping by Serbian engineers. Now, who seems like the one telling the tall tale? Tina Peters, who's sitting in prison because they want you to believe she violated every norm of elections. Oh my gosh, can you believe what she did? She turned off the cameras, right? Throw her in jail. Let's not talk about what she found. Let's not talk about the algorithms. Let's not talk about what Eric Coomer just admitted and had to in his discovery in his lawsuit against Patrick Byrne. Patrick Byrne alleging, of course, that our elections are rigged because of these machines and that the rigging has been going on for years. It's happened in multiple other countries, and it's, again, sourcing in Venezuela. Isn't that all just so dang weird? Venezuela. Oh, it's got to be all about the oil. Trump just wants their oil. That's what he wants. Really? Or does Donald Trump just want one of his top prosecutors in a jail cell with Nicolas Maduro and maybe his wife? How are you doing? You guys like it in here? How can I make this more comfortable for you? Lawfare silenced the media from talking about it. Talk about like media like Newsmax or OAN or other programs. Lawfare. We're going to throw the book at somebody like Tina Peters, throw her away forever, have her virtually killed, right? And then accuse her of attacking an inmate so she has to stay longer. Are you connecting the dots? Like, I'm no sleuth here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not Scooby and Shaggy, and I don't have any Scooby snacks. But I can tell you, from 30,000 feet, this mom smells garbage. And it's all freaking connected. And Nicole Wallace and her death march face tells you they know the dominoes. Oh boy, they're picking up speed, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back on Wendy Bell radio program, why all of us should care about Dominion voting systems and what Patrick Byrne is doing. Next.
Apparently, Scott Pressler is saying that Grassley and now Roger Wicker have co-sponsored to say
who's
that.
left?
So who's
Murkowski,
left?
Collins,
McConnell,
McConnell.
And Thune has not. These are the four left, and Thune hasn't. Now he said that I'm for it, you know, but I think he was holding out until he was going to become a decider, which changes everything because you're never going to get 60 ever. So he needs to make the decision now. Now
on
it's
the filibuster,
on his table.
you mean?
The filibuster.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth it.
Wait a minute. You need 60 votes to pass the SAVE Act?
If you don't nuke the filibuster, yeah. Make it law.
It's not a simple majority. Really?
From my understanding.
How many Senate votes needed to pass SAVE Act? Requires 60 Senate votes to pass under current rules. They'd need at least 7 Democrats, but they're not going to get there. They're going to need 10. All right, so what's going to happen is what they really want is they want everybody to force their hands to vote. Yes?
Yes.
All right, let me tell you guys about Dr. Darren Dubiak and BodyByAIM360.com. Look, it's a lifestyle thing. The whole reason why he named it Body by Advanced Integrative Medical 360 is it's not just the food you put in your mouth, right? It's not just alcohol that you drink or sugary snacks or what have you. There's a lot more to your comprehensive wellness than just food. Right? There are outside influences. There are allergies. There are things that you are eating that you don't know that you're intolerant to. There are things going on with your gut that totally derail your ability to lose weight and feel better, right? What do we all want? We want to be a weight that we're happy with. We want to have not have huge aches and pains, right? You don't want to be sluggish. You want to get great sleep. At a minimum, if all of those things were working in your favor, you'd be like, thank you, God. BodyByAIM360.com aims to do that for you. It's the comprehensive whole you approach to losing weight, which is why it's based on blood work. Blood work that tells you where you're going, and then the roadmap is the food. It's the meal plan. But beyond that, there are IVs. And you think about it, you're like, I'm going to go and get an IV, literally have somebody put a needle in my arm and an IV bag, and in my vein goes what? All of the supplements and the nutrients that your body lacks that your blood work tells you about. Boom, 20 minutes in your body. It doesn't have to pass through your gut. That's why. It's all connected. That's why it's a relationship with BodyByAIM360.com. I think it's invaluable, particularly for people who feel terrible, can't lose weight, the aches and pains and all of that. BodyByAIM360.com, 412-227-9255. It's the whole thing directed at you, yours. Nobody else's, yours. 412-227-9255. I will read those in a little bit.
Senator Mike Lee says SAVE Act currently has 50 votes.
So those three, you got McConnell, you've got, and think about that.
Murkowski
What a douche. There's got to be a flight of stairs somewhere.
Him and Weissman.
Couldn't I just do one of the sweep the legs? For our next half hour, guys, because we have good news and bad jokes, and I really like the good news. It's super cute. All right, so I found this, and this is on the Twitter handle. It's called Holon Citizen, Holon. And I hover over it to see who this guy is, and he's kind of like a curious, he's like you and I are. He's an American who wants his country back. And so he's doing the work, doing the digging, and he's very much aware of this lawsuit with this Eric Coomer guy from Dominion who's gotten over his skis and has gotten a little too big for his britches. And he thinks, I'm going to sue everybody now, just like Mike Lindell, and I'm going to make my $2.3 million on everybody. Well, crazy interesting for people to understand this particular thread says. The legal battle between Patrick Byrne and Eric Coomer is hitting a boiling pitch, and it's a story every American needs to watch. At its heart, this isn't just an ordinary defamation case. It is a struggle for transparency in our democratic process. Patrick Byrne, the founder of Overstock, has staked his reputation and his fortune on the line to investigate what he argues are entrenched flaws in our election security. He's stepping up as a whistleblower for the people, demanding answers that many in power would rather keep hidden. The plaintiff in this case is Eric Coomer. He's a senior executive at Dominion Voting Systems. While the media often frames him as a victim, Burns' legal team is raising serious questions about Coomer's past and his actual influence over voting software. There are ongoing concerns regarding Coomer's alleged ties to radical groups and his personal stance on political movements. For many, his role as the architect of these systems makes his objectivity and his character a matter of intense public interest. Dominion Voting Systems itself is far from a neutral bystander in this drama. The company has a history of aggressive litigation designed to silence critics, bang, 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 who point out technical vulnerabilities in their machines. Instead of welcoming rigorous audits to prove their systems are foolproof, they often resort to enormous lawsuits. Think about everything that's going on, the balking about Tulsi being in Fulton County. It's the same play. This corporate strategy feels more like a lawfare tactic meant to intimidate anybody who dares to ask how our votes are actually processed. What makes this specific case unexpected is the international dimension that Byrne is now bringing to light. During recent discovery, Byrne's team is pushed to question Coomer about the connections to foreign entities in Serbia and Venezuela. They're investigating why the software code used in American elections was actually developed or influenced by programmers in these regions. And if foreign actors had a hand in the brains of our voting machines, the implications for national security are staggering. Recently, Coomer's lawyers have been scrambling to obtain a protective order to stop these questions from being asked. Really? They argue that these topics are irrelevant conspiracy theories, but Byrne supporters see it differently. Why would a public official in charge of election security need out of answering questions about foreign software development? If everything is above board, a transparent deposition should be nothing to fear. The most shocking detail is the sheer level of control Coomer reportedly had over the adjudication process in the voting software. This feature allows election workers to manually change how a ballot is counted if the machine just can't read it. Byrne's investigation suggests this creates a massive backdoor for potential manipulation. Patrick is fighting to prove that highlighting these risks isn't defamation, it's a necessary service to a free society. As this case moves forward in the Florida federal court, the stakes couldn't be higher for the First Amendment. If Byrne loses, it sends a chilling message that questioning corporate giants like Dominion is off limits. However, if he succeeds in bringing this evidence to a jury, it could change how we view election integrity forever. Patrick is taking the heat because he believes the truth is worth the personal cost. Kind of like Trump, right? Like Mike Lindell. Stay tuned as the discovery phase continues through early 2026. We're finally getting a look under the hood of the systems that run our country. This isn't just about one man's reputation. It's about whether we have the right to know how our leaders are chosen. Patrick Byrne is leading the charge for that clarity, and the world is finally starting to watch. People can dig more into the Serbia connections. Also see Patrick's documentary called Deep Rig. Again, this man that I just followed, his name is Holon Citizen at HOLON Citizen. Sounds like he's going to be one of those people who's going to be in the courtroom following along for us, and I will be following him so that you and I are all connected. It's a domino, and it's moving, and they know it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about vaccines a little bit and the profit-driven vaccination push. No parent wants to believe that or know that their pediatrician pushed vaccines on their children because they were getting compensated for it. Is that what was going on? You better believe it. Yes. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Do you want to read that to them while I read the jokes? I know I've got a little bit of time, but I'll talk about
Kelly.
more gains here in just a minute.
So what I sent Wendy, and this is Robbie Starbuck, he's pretty solid with his when he says he has something, but everybody's putting this out. The DOJ just dropped, I want to say 3,000 pages of the Epstein. It says, wow, in the Epstein emails, DOJ dropped Jeffrey sent himself emails memorializing a fight he had with Bill Gates. In it, he says that Bill Gates got STDs from Russian hookers and then asked Jeffrey for antibiotics that Bill could secretly give to Melinda without her noticing. And we wonder why she got a divorce and is now worth, what, $30 billion? Oh, I'm sorry. DOJ announces the release of 3 million pages of Epstein files, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. And that's from U.S. Deputy AG Todd Blanche. Makes you wonder. I mean, they went pretty quiet. And like Wendy said at the beginning, they never cared about the victims. If they did, they would have done this years ago. If Trump was involved, they'd have done this years ago. But now their people aren't protected. The Bill Gates of the world aren't protected.
I don't understand this one.
Okay.
Did you read them?
Most of them. Which one?
The 21st birthday?
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand the end of it. I
Should have stopped when he was ahead.
Oh, because it says SMH should quit. I don't know what that means.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different
one. No, I mean, I get it.
Should have.
Yeah, I don't understand why that was there. Okay. No, he instead of, I didn't understand that. Okay.
Yeah, he, so.
That's why.
What?
I didn't want to.
Oh, SMH means shaking my head.
Yeah, but why would that be there? I mean, I know what that means, but.
I really want to see what they're going to do with the SAVE Act. And I don't know if you're MAGA, or if you're, who doesn't think they should nuke the filibuster? Who doesn't have the, if they don't do it, the Democrats will mentality? Who, show me someone that's logical that doesn't have that opinion.
I want to tell you guys about Kelly Morgan. And Morgane's Fitness. And I'm sure I've got one of her stories here, one of the success stories, 90 days. His journey continues. What an absolute inspiration this man was. This is a different story, but just goes to show you that if 90 days isn't enough to lose all of your weight or your fat or what you want, do it longer. This young man lost 100 pounds of fat in 8 months, which is just ridiculous. Kelly says he's completely transformed himself from the inside out. I guess his name is Devin. You're the reason and the passion behind what I do, Kelly says. He says goals should never be easy. They should force you to work even if they're unforeseeable ones. Well, he lost 100 pounds of fat. So I'm going to say that that's a goal you had, Dev. Pretty good. Another incredible success story. She lost 16 pounds of fat and almost 16 inches incredible, would like to remain anonymous. She said, struggling with feeling confident in the gym, starting Ignite 90 was my chance to myself to learn how to change my habits. Having the encouragement from Kelly throughout the program was just what I needed to stay on track. Having to be accountable was what made all of the difference. And I'm pretty sure that is this young lady right here. 90 days, more gains, fitness. Look at the difference. Before,
look at the buttocks.
I know. Look at her. Look at her cute little buns. Right? Did nobody want to tell her to tuck in her tag? Like,
wow.
Morgainsfitness.com. MORGAINZ fitness.com.
That's what you were looking at?
Because that would have pissed me off. It's like having lipstick on your teeth. You're like, program, you know, the next big shoe that's going to have to drop. And it shouldn't take us years and years and years to get to the truth. It's got to be about these vaccines. My husband came home from work the other day, and he has a friend at work who I guess had a nephew pass away. And this is a guy who's like 32 years old, super fit, exercises all the time, one of these like triathlete guys. And out of nowhere, developed like Shazam, had a symptom of something and found out he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Was dead, gone. In a matter of weeks. And at the hospital, Joe sees this woman. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I heard about your nephew. And she said, I just don't know what to do. I can't imagine what happened. There's no history of this. There's no nothing. Like, I don't. And what did he say? Well, was he vaccinated? Remember when we were demonized for not getting the shots? And if you did, I'm not here to criticize you. You do you. We said this the whole time. We thought it was very peculiar. And we thought it was alarming. And then we thought it was dangerous. And then we said it was un-American to push on the people some treatment. Hurry, hurry, hush, hush. You know, you don't have to know what's in it. Just do it. I swear it's great. What? Like the country that teaches its children don't take candy from strangers was supposed to roll up their sleeves and get a shot, you know, without even anything. And the doctors didn't know anything. They were like, I'm told by my medical conglomerate you should get it, so you should get it. Literally, that was the amount of some of the critical thought. Not for all the doctors, but some, many, I would say. Well, what if they were all compensated? What if there was medical? What if there was a financial incentive? Well, we've talked about this, and of course, it's out. Pediatricians make $1 million per year in commission for childhood vaccines. Is that fair? Is that right? Does that make you feel gross inside? Because I do. I shared with you the story about taking my youngest kids to their final well check of the end of their youth. And I thought that I had not gotten them the HPV vaccine yet. I was excited to be able to tell the pediatrician, no, I think we're going to pass. And then I found out not only did both of the boys have it, they got 2. And I said to the nurse, I was like, We know what this does. We know the questions about this vaccine, and she's like, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just a nurse. I have no power. Died suddenly. That's the Substack. Short video clip circulating widely on Instagram. Shows an exchange between Senator Ron Johnson and Brian Hooker, PhD, Chief Scientific Officer of Children's Health Defense. That's Bobby Kennedy's outfit. The video, running about 40 seconds, was taken from a U.S. Senate hearing and has drawn attention for its focus on financial incentives tied to childhood vaccinations. Childhood vaccinations, which now we realize they never even tested. The vaccines that our kids get that are part of the vaccine schedule, right? That everybody just, clone trooper, follow in line, this is what we do. They were never tested for safety. They weren't tested together. How about when you've got a newborn and they're like, well, we got 4 shots, but they'll make it easy. Pop, 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 pop in your kid's leg. And you're like, wah! Do you guys test those? Do they interact with each other at all? They don't know. They don't know. At the start of the clip, Senator Johnson poses a direct question. Do pediatricians, well, heck, watch for yourself. This is the clip we're talking about.
Do pediatricians get incentivized with percent vaccination of their?
Yeah, they're typically incentivized directly by HMOs. HMOs buy and sell vaccines, so vaccines are big businesses for HMOs. But the incentivization is usually anywhere from $200 to $600 per fully vaccinated patient, as long as their vaccines, a certain percentage of their practice is fully vaccinated. So some pediatricians can make upwards to $1 million or more a year just in those incentives.
Wow. The concept of provider incentives is not unique to vaccines in the U.S. healthcare system. Quality metrics and performance benchmarks are often tied to financial bonuses for physicians and clinics. But there was a reason why when you went into your well visit during COVID, staying 6 feet away from everybody and wearing your stupid mask. There's a reason that you got hounded. Are you vaccinated? Are your children vaccinated? You got all your Are we going to get a booster? What's your vaccination? How about you suck it? I'm here for a well visit. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing with my child. It's part of your official record, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a big black X on mine, right? According to publicly available documents from certain health insurers, vaccination benchmarks are sometimes included in pay-for-performance contracts with physicians. For example, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan has published guidelines indicating that practices can receive bonus payments if they meet or exceed childhood immunization targets. It means like you've got 1,000 patients in the practice. If you can get 70% of them fully vaccinated, well, now you're in the money. If it's only 50%, you'll still be in the money, just not as much money. So you should probably get everybody fully vaccinated. Well, where is that line? Where did that line get okay to be trampled? And how dumb are we? I'm going to speak for me. I didn't even ask. I never asked my pediatrician a single daggone question before COVID. I never asked about long-term effects. I never saw if there was any kind of weird side effects. They gave me some colored piece of paper that said, here's the vaccine that the nurse is coming in to give your child. Which my son Bobby was like, right? Love of needles. I never thought about it critically. I sure as hell never thought that my pediatrician was making money off of my answers. And then you pile that on with this story. I mean, the stuff that we need to dig into. This is why the American Academy of Pediatrics was just hit with a federal RICO lawsuit for vaccine safety fraud. I'll give you a couple paragraphs of this. We told you about this. The Dominoes, friends, they're falling. For decades, the American Academy of Pediatrics has been treated like an untouchable authority on child health. The gold standard that parents, doctors, schools, and lawmakers were told to trust without question. But today, that image collapses. Children's Health Defense and multiple plaintiffs just filed a federal lawsuit alleging the American Academy of Pediatrics spent decades running a racketeering operation that sold parents false safety assurances about the childhood vaccine schedule. You know, it's hard to wrap your mind around things. If you would never do something to hurt somebody, if you would never tamper with an election or make up evidence or go along with a lousy vote that you knew was detrimental, if you wouldn't do things that you knew were horrible for your fellow man, you don't really sit there and think other people would. But they do, and they have. And I'm tired of it. This is the story my boyfriend Steve Hartman takes us to. If I'm not mistaken, doesn't he go somewhere in New York? And he is, I'm going to tell you what, this is the cutest story of how a group of women, total strangers, found out about something unique to one of them and worked together. Okay, so it was a Frecklefish chair by Mackenzie Childs, apparently some pretty big known, I don't know. And guess what it costs online, Brock, if you were to get it new?
Well, they paid $600, so I'm going to go $900.
$3,000.
For a chair?
Yes, $3,000. It's cute and totally tacky, but I love it. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. It is Bad Joke Friday right after this. Frecklefish chair. The one is Mackenzie Childs, black and white seat, $2,999.95. Say what? That is so weird. I love it. And that's at Wayfair. Isn't that kind of a cheap? I don't know about it.
I guess not.
We could sell some of your silver bars and get it.
Bars?
Oh, sell part of your bar, a bar. You want more bars?
I wonder if the update has to do with that camera.
I don't know, but it's when I look and lovingly stare at it and then it balks at me. Let me see if I can update it. All right, next. Let's see if we can figure this out. There's something wacky that happens when I lean in. I don't know what. Myron 54 gifted 5 subscriptions to Wendy Bell Radio. That was awful nice. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
5 people get a subscription.
Oh, how do you do that? Like, does he give them to them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I've never done it.
Well, I think he gives them the Wendy Bell Radio, and then they disperse. I don't know. I'd be guessing.
We are Wendy Bell Radio.
Well, that's through. Yeah.
So you have no idea either. Good to know. And therein is one of the differences between men and women.
Well, I think there's a little box down there with a gift thing. So he has to go. The person has to go through. Did it move again?
No, it's just it's center.
There you go.
It's not necessarily the center that we would want. Are my lights weird? I feel like I'm really dark. Anyway, it's the end of the show.
Okay.
Who gives a rip?
They get handed out in the chat randomly.
Oh. Well, that was nice.
So I was all right.
It is so cold. Who's cold? Anybody cold? Are you guys freezing? Are we getting some cyclone? What is this thing that we're supposed to be preparing for? Like
what?
Joe is, well, there's supposed to be some wicked, like almost tornadic.
Cold.
Yeah, but I think with extra doodads with it. like wind and I don't know. Are you telling me to be quiet?
Yeah, what if Jolene's listening?
What about it? You don't want her to come to you?
Will it affect the delivery? No,
What's her plan?
to deliver them.
To you?
Yeah.
So you're not going to meet her?
No, I want to. That's no sense of bringing them to me and then me taking them. We could just meet.
Yeah. Huh. Wayfair is a ripoff.
Bomb cyclone mainly for East Coast, I think.
That's what I'm saying. What is that?
If it just means cold, I'm done with the cold.
I
I'm
know.
getting too
It is
old
January.
for this.
I know.
You're getting old? Too old for this?
I am. No, I understand.
I'd rather be hot.
I understand it. I've had enough of snow and salt.
Yes.
And the schmutz that every time I walk by my car, it's like my jacket's got to scrape up against it. So I've got smears of filth on it. Program, it is a risk in live broadcasting to hand over such a precious segment of a show to you, the listener. But ladies and gentlemen, we've done that. So without further ado,
ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
first joke, as always, from Dr. Richard Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. He says a passenger was in the back of a taxi when he leaned forward and he tapped the driver on the shoulder. And suddenly the driver screamed, lost control of the vehicle, swerved into the sidewalk, and stopped inches from a shop window. Everything went quiet in the taxi as both the driver and the passenger sat in shock. "Are you okay?" the driver finally asked. "I'm sorry about that, but you scared the living daylights out of me." The passenger apologized to the driver. "I'm sorry. I didn't know that just that little tap on the shoulder would startle somebody so much." No, the driver said. "It's my fault. Today's my first day as a taxi driver. I've been driving a hearse for the last 25 years.
I didn't see that coming.
That's cute.
I asked the emergency room doctor if I could do my own stitches. He said, suture yourself.
Oh my gosh. 3 beautiful ladies, a redhead, brunette, and a blonde. We're stranded on a South Pacific island. One day, the blonde came running up the shoreline, screaming about a bejeweled bottle she found floating in the surf. Curious about the contents, she pulled the cork stopper and a gigantic genie floated out, bellowing, 10,000 years cooped up, 10,000 years. For my freedom, I shall grant each of you one wish. One over the next 3 days. Tomorrow morning, I shall return." And poof, he vanished. Early next morning, he growled, "Okay, Red, we're going to start with you." She asked to live in a beautiful mansion on the seashore in Hawaii with a BMW convertible and a bank account that never runs out of money. "Done," he shouted, and he went away. And of course, the next morning came back. "Where is the black-haired woman?" the genie roared. She stepped forward and asked to live in a beautiful castle in Switzerland with a private jet and a bank account that never runs out of money. "Done," he cried, and he and the black-haired beauty instantly disappeared. On the third morning, "Blondie," he demanded, "step up." So, as she sadly and nervously looked down and up the shoreline, she lamented, "It's just so lonely here now. I wish I had my friends back."
Oh, jeez. All that for that? I visited my friend in his new apartment. He told me to make myself at home, so I threw him out.
Wow.
I hate having visitors.
Oh my gosh. How do you change a dishwasher into a snowblower? Hand her a snow shovel. That's terrible. Listen to you. You're terrible.
The reason that you can't have the 10 commandments posted on the courthouse is this: 1, thou shalt not steal; 2, thou shalt not commit adultery; 3, thou shalt not lie. In a building full of lawyers, judges, and politicians, that creates a hostile work environment.
That's it. 100%. What is the only thing flat earthers fear? Sphere itself.
Oh, God. I asked my blind neighbor how she lost her husband, Johnny. She told me her sad story. Well, he needed a blood transfusion, but his blood type was not on his record. So the doctor asked me if I knew what it was, as they urgently needed to know in order to save my Johnny's life. Tragically, I've never known his blood type, so I had only had time to sit and say goodbye.
Oh.
I never forget how supportive my Johnny was. Even as he was fading away, he kept whispering to me, be positive, be positive.
Oh my
That was my Johnny, always thinking of others.
I'm having a hard time finding work. I think I'll apply for the search and rescue team. They're always looking for someone. So stupid.
Did you hear about the broken guitar for sale?
No.
It comes with no strings attached.
Remember when plastic surgery was a taboo subject? Now you mention Botox and like nobody raises an eyebrow.
What do you call a line of men waiting to get a haircut?
Huh.
A barbecue.
Oh, God. Did you know illegal immigrants do the job that Americans don't want to do anymore? Like voting for Democrats?
Sad news today. Someone stole my deck of cards
Oh.
and glued them together. I just can't deal with it.
I saw a sign in a plumbing supply store that read cast iron sinks. Well, duh.
How did Mary and Joseph know how much Jesus weighed when he was born?
Ooh.
They had a weigh in the manger.
Elderly couple sitting in church, and the wife turns to her husband and says, I've just done a silent fart. What should I do? Husband says, well, put new batteries in your hearing. That was worth it. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Stay warm. We'll see you Monday. Peace.